All right. So
Are we
this
good?
is this is episode. Let's call this episode 2.5 because we're 3.5 because we had you on the first time.
3. Just call it episode 3.
3 episode 3. The Affiliation Podcast.
I got different shit to talk about with Nick now.
Where we have
Nickelus
F in the building.
We got Nickelus F in the building.
Yeah, straight off of some traveling and stuff. So we'll just carry on where we left off. Like we left off with you talking about your new project, right? So yes, Specimen's out.
Yeah.
How'd that feel? What's the outlook? I know the comic book and everything. What else is going on around that right now that you're working on?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Specimen came out. It did well. People took to it. I think it's a different sort of format for people to kind of like take in. But currently working on the visual component for it, the actual physical comic book. Working with a really dope artist. Yeah. Working with a really dope artist named Chris Visions. He's drawn from Marvel, Image, DC, like all those places. He is actually one of the artists that contributed to the Into the Spider-Verse movie. And if you remember, Miles Morales was at a school called the Visions School of the Gifted or something like that.
Was that because of him?
Named of it. Damn right.
Wow. Right. Where is he from?
Yeah, so he's from here. It's from the R.
Oh wow.
So he's working on the visual component. I'm writing the script and the storyline and all of that for it. We pushed our dates further back for when we're gonna like release things. So the actual physical comic is gonna come in the fall of this year. At which point I'm gonna re-release the album with some like additional scenes and some additional songs, remaster it, and so on and so forth. After
this is a very
dropped it. Okay.
Now this is very story driven. Then this whole project.
Yeah, this one in particular. Yeah, and so just to kind of like I guess like level set. So like that that's a project that's always going on, right? That's like a project that's going on in the background. And when it's time to pop out, it comes to the foreground. But I am on the cusp of dropping another album in like the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's pretty much done. Yeah. It's fire. It's this one is just like straight music.
So this is not like a comic book thing. Did you produce
this one?
Or do you have different producers, all produced by you?
Nah, this one is all produced by me. But one thing I am working on this year is working with more people and more producers. So I've been talking with a lot of people and been getting a lot of tracks in, and I'm definitely gonna have some stuff with more people this year.
To be honest, track. We need a Nick and Alchemist joint.
We definitely need that, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like,
or conduct
a lot of music this year. A whole lot of music, and people I'm gonna drop some of the music. People gonna be tired of me by the end of the year. I got a lot to release. Big pause, but like I got a lot to put out into the world. So
this is a good time for that because like we're not. It was unfortunate when we originally all trying to get on together because at the time it's like, oh, is he a 50 Cent? Does he fall in this category? That nowadays with everybody putting shit out, Larry June, you got so many different type of artists, right? And I'm not just saying just because they're like boom bap or whatever category. None of them really fall into any category, right? Like Westside doesn't have to do boom bap shit. He even said I don't want to like that all the time, Which I just say because I bring up this because you got an age range. Doesn't matter about that shit anymore, right? I mean, obviously, like when you had 2 Chainz, like people are like, 2 Chainz is older and he's still in the game. Pusha T's still in the game, But I think what's great about now is,
I'd say the hottest rappers are in their 40s. I'm gonna be honest.
Right now, I feel like
I'm be honest with you, it's gonna remain that way. And really the reason why is because if you're like focused on like becoming a better writer and coming up with better ways to like express yourself and tell your narrative, you're only going to get better with age. Like writers get better with time, right? You have rappers and you have actual writers. Like I'm a rapper, but I'm a writer, you know? And so like
producer too.
And the producer, come on, yo, for real, I'm like, I really am a cheat code. And like, for real, like I'm gonna really prove that this year. Like, no, it's bullshit.
I don't think you gotta
prove it. It's gonna be disgusting. Yeah. Fuck everything I ever did before. For real. Fuck all that shit. Because like this year, I'm going stupid. Just believe me on that. But like any author,
like no features
that right
going off. Like I don't even need features. Like I don't even need features going off.
You look, I got enough music to where I don't need the features, but I'm working on that. That's something that I do want to work on, is this working with people more. Yeah, I'm a lab rat.
I want to see you in the whole with the 38 specials, the conductor beats, all those guys. I think that's where I want to see you there.
You already know I'm working on that. And I got some.
That's your lane for me. I feel like you can dominate.
For sure.
The Nick I know, he's on all lanes, but this is, I think, where you've evolved. I think you were just finding yourself when we were all coming up together, 2003, 2004. It's like, okay, Nick could get on all these Neptunes type of records, right? It's like maybe he's a good fit for Star Trek. Oh, Nick could do the street shit naturally just because of Richmond, the Burglars. So
106
type artist. Now I'm just saying, like back then you had to find a pocket and be like, oh, this is where you have to fit it. Now, you have to fit a mold. Now you create the mold. You do whatever the fuck you want. You know, you look at Tyler, the Creator. He does whatever the hell he wants. Yeah, he has a sound, but like Tyler could do a record with fucking Playboy Cardi, Uzi if he wants. Then you know he can do some other shit. You know, like
The thing about me is I never did fit a mold. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the one thing I remember in the Juan interview, I had said how I didn't fit a mold, and Rosenberg was like, dreads and a beard. Yeah, you don't fit a mold. Like, it's sarcastic, but like but just because that's the exterior. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily who I am as a person. I'm more than just like the dreads and the beard. And at that time period, I didn't have any bullet wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't known for moving copious amounts of drugs across state lines. You know what I'm saying? I was just like a kid that really wanted to rap, and I got my hands dirty with things because that was the era. You know what I mean? And the people I was hanging around with, but that wasn't my identity for real.
But I mean, that's
I mean, honestly, I always knew like you were obviously the original name Nick Fury. Obviously, was based on Nick Fury, right? Like a comic book character. We always knew you were animated. You know, even as an artist, like you were animated. And I don't mean animated like connecting it with drawing animated. Like you were an animated person, which I think is a character of somebody that grows up appreciating comic books and drawing and shit. Like you're a character, right? And I think you were able to, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you look at like the MF Dooms and the Most Defs, right? Those guys create multiple alter egos too, right? Even Ghostface Killer, like these guys have so many. RZA, how many types of artists has RZA been?
Yo, we all came up. We were all affected, influenced by the same things. Yo, this was the hip hop, kung fu movies, and comic book era. You know, like this was Blockbuster.
Yeah,
this was Blockbuster on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? You go to the Wu-Tang section. You go to the Shaolin section. You know what I'm saying? And you're pulling things off the shelves. You're hitting the comic book stores on the weekends, or at the grocery store and the lines. You know, all of those things were big influences, and still are huge influences to me now. Like I go every week. You know what I'm saying? My collection is robust.
No, I love.
You should explain though. Like you should rap on a Detroit beat. You should rap on a.
Oh, dog. That's what I'm trying to tell you, fam. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I tell you I'm adding his next, man, I'm like, yo, for real. Like I got those, yo. I got some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I got some shit.
Don't fit no mold. You say you don't fit a mold. Don't fit one then. Just do whatever.
Yeah. Nah, like yo, trust me, yo. Like all the offbeat flows. I got all the It's like yo.
I remember Nick could do that Bone Thug shit if he wanted back then. Like he was going out.
Yo, my offbeat young nigga flow right now is crazy. I've mastered the offbeat young nigga flow. Like, and the way I hop from that joint into like some technical mastery type shit. Like, so I tell you, the next tape is an exhibition of just like all the things that I do at a high level. You feel what I'm saying? Whether it's turned up, whether it's some soulful shit with no drums on it, whether it's some sing-songy shit, whether it's some ignorant, turned up, damn girl that ass crazy type shit. Like it's a good blend of what I do, and it all sounds cohesive, even though it's like different sounds. It's a body of work because it's all coming from the same place. You know what I'm saying?
Out of Richmond, because y'all listen to everything. You listen to 3 6 Mafia, same place where Skills came from, so you guys had a little bit of that. Also, you know, the hood was crazy, so you guys are related to, you know, the street shit. So and Richmond is a very artsy place. I don't think people know, like, how many agencies come out of there, you know?
What was it like for you, Hugh, coming to Richmond for the first time, meeting Nick and doing all that? What was that like, Hugh?
Oh my God. Oh man. What was the first time I ever went? I think wow. I think when I met up with y'all, like with Scummy
like 05, 04.
Now they brought me to like the projects because over there the projects are townhomes, right? I remember that because I remember I went out to Scum's house with you and Lee. That was like 04, 05, I think.
Yeah. Nah.
Yo, what was that's what reminds you of Virginia? Like that's what I mean. Like
that's not what I thought. I'd always thought Virginia Beach when I thought Virginia.
Nah, Richmond is so different from Virginia Beach, and that's why it was so unique when me and Jared got up with Nick, because like we had that whole Virginia Beach way, which is like black kids still wearing Vans and skateboarding and shit.
Nah, I was about to say, y'all put me on to that. Like, I was talking about this the other day. I was like, yo, there's a point in time where like I was rocking the Vans with the Dickie shorts, and trucker hats. But that was because I was going down fucking with y'all every weekend. Like, I was crazy wearing that shit. Niggas like, yo, what you got on?
Well, that had to be different from Richmond, you know?
You know what's crazy though in Virginia though? Why you can street dudes dress like that? Because that kept them low key. Like little dressed like skaters and
street side, but a lot of these kids really looked up to Pharrell, and
everyone did just
dad. So and a lot of the kids grew up skateboarding naturally. So like this is
even if you were in the streets, you hopped on a skateboard and just rode around in the hood too. Like that wasn't just like
even to the new generation. Like rest in peace, Wavy Wayne. Wavy Wayne was this kid that was wearing all surf shit, you know, like surfboard shit, and you know he's fucking rapping like Young Thug and shit. So like it doesn't matter. I think that's the unique thing about Virginia Beach. But it was a great,
beautiful thing about style, man. Style is an expression. Like I said, you don't have to place yourself in any boxes. Like I felt like we had to do that at one point, or people felt they had to do that at one point because there weren't a lot of avenues for us to go through, and so there's only a few doors to walk through, and those doors only fit certain sorts of keys, right? There's a street nigga key, there's a pretty boy key, there's a ladies lover key, you know what I mean? And there you know, there was only a select few amount of keys, so a lot of people tried to like conform themselves to fit a certain shape so that they can open up a certain door.
I think 2024 is going to be interesting for this.
Don't fit in any mold. Don't fit in any mold. Just keep doing it. That's a Virginia thing to do, period.
Also, I think we're about to see some crazy shit happen in 2024 with UMG not like renewing their shit with TikTok. Where TikTok goes. TikTok may get possibly banned. I have a love and hate relationship with TikTok. The part I didn't like is the fact that A&Rs kind of fucking started slacking, and they were just like going after people that were just.
I want to ask you this: how do you feel about that? Being that our company Affiliation, we do a lot of marketing. We use TikTok. What UMG news do you like?
It's funny because Nick, I texted you the other day and asked if you had a TikTok, right? And you like your stuff is on TikTok and some, your stuff is all over the place. You get Instagram, whatever. I be sending him random tweets and stuff where people talk. It's mainly around the stuff that went on your past, your new music, whatever. But the presence, I think it's not necessary. It's just one of those things like what radio was, then what selling CDs, and now what I guess like short form content and streaming is, like just outlets to get your music out there. The next wave, I think, like short form content is the next wave. That's what they're all telling us now. But when you can't adapt it to your
short form content,
meaning like your video
as a marketing
tool. Yeah. So that video you just put out for Pimento, right? It's got to be vertical and 30 seconds clips for people to really take it in and feel it. Or make it popular or whatever. But after that, like if UMG, like you said, it's taking it off of TikTok. They're not trying to monetize it anymore. So what does that mean? I think it means that artists, it's going to be tougher for artists with no personality, no forward presence, stage presence or anything like that to do things or just to become famous. Because an artist who could just rap or make a song or do anything and rely on the marketing team just to push everything out there probably isn't going to make it. They got the best records in the world. They're not going to make it unless they can do everything, like the live. Yeah, well, you got to have a live presence or whatever. Like the cool thing about like what Nick is doing is that his fan, like once you develop a fan base, for the most part, they won't leave you. Like I still talk to the fans of his that think I'm his manager still, asking me, can I get an autograph? There's 3 guys that hit me up on the reg. One of them's Vince, that dude from Richmond, But like a lot of these, they're still out there. Like
I'll tell you this, man.
The fans are always.
I think we're gonna go back to like real interaction, though. I think that's what's about to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want to go back to physical media again. I know that sounds crazy, but people are kind of tired of the lack of social. Like it's called social media, and people became less social. I think people want to fucking like collect physical things again. Like with the ending of Pitchfork, you heard like Pitchfork laid everybody off. Shit is merging with GQ. If we're not gonna have those types of voices, we're gonna go back to the streets. We're gonna want these experiences of collecting things, and that's the shit that Nick is already naturally doing is, I think, the lane. Like,
to be honest, like the things that I have planned coming up are going to be special, because of the fact that they're real things, right? They're
tangible.
They're tangible things, even like with the effort that that I'm putting in towards what I'm going to be doing with like the merch, like in terms of just even like just the clothing, right? The connections I've made with certain designers and people to focus solely on my merch and the aesthetic that comes with it. And like I'm talking about like some like fire designers who I'm surprised even fuck with me like that, like but it's going to be and it is because like there are a lot of people who want that just freedom to like just create and do something because they feel it and because it's in their heart, because it's like what they love to do, without having like the constraints of business hindering their art and what they're putting together. And like you link up with a person like me who is like King DIY, and that's the thing I was going to say about Richmond. The thing about Richmond is like we are a DIY city. Like do it yourself. Like grab your camera, shoot your shit, get a damn program, record your shit. Like you know what I'm saying? If you like go out there and wheat paste your, your fucking flyers around the city. You know what I mean? If you ain't got no other form of promo, get a spray paint can. 3:00 in the morning, go on Broad Street, tag the name of your project. Like that's how we get down. And I think that sort of mentality is going to appeal on a larger scale if it's presented the right way. And
very much like punk rock. People. Very much like urban punk rock.
That's what Richmond is. Richmond is a punk city.
Yeah.
Whether it's the hip hop aspect of it, whether it's the rock side of it. And I think that's why I am the epitome of what a Richmond artist is, because I stand right there in the intersection of like punk and hip hop.
Even back then, the kids that were in the punk fucked with you. All the skater kids I knew.
Come on, yo.
And Nick used to go to punk shows that Jared and his buddies like have.
The last 2 tours I went on were mixed shows. Like there is hip hop and rock bands. I'm doing a show in April with some bands, you know, like, and it's going to be crazy. Like those are the ones where diving off the stage, with my spitting, like people are leaving bloody and happy. You know what I'm saying?
I could be wrong, but I think there's a great reset sort of happening, and I think it's several factors. I think there's a socioeconomic factor to it. People are fucking struggling. People are doing anything to do shit, like, by any means. People are also facing social media fatigue, if that makes sense, right? Like, people are kind of fucking tired of the same shit. Every time, I feel like Instagram's becoming, like, a thing to just sell me shit, right? Like, sell me a bunch of shit I can't afford, like window shopping, like, bro, like, that's all it's trying to do. And we don't want to be sold shit. We want to experience it. People will gravitate towards, like, so-and-so put me onto this artist. That's more exciting now. Going back to that shit. People are tired of the algorithm pushing shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's why you're in a perfect sort of situation now. And I think what's even crazier is your full-time job, I think, is probably giving you a whole nother set of skills that you can sort of use for this now. Like, we'll go into that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
go into that. Like, I don't think a lot of people know what you do for a living.
Yeah, I'm an associate creative director at Adobe Acrobat, and I work with outside teams and vendors to create our marketing materials, and you know, they adhere to the brand guidelines, yo. And the beautiful thing about, like, learning those skills is that I'm able to apply them to myself, right? And so the way that I work with the designer now to fuck with my merch is the same way that I'm working with outside designers and graphic artists, you know, to deliver things for them. Knowing how to write a proper brief, just like, yes, all the
communication, like a better way to communicate your ideas. You know how to do it officially. Like,
what's in the life like being an associate creative director? Like, just what skills did you have to learn? Like, I mean, you know, when you're like,
for sure. Well, what I ended up doing, I ended up leaning on what it was I know I was good at, and that's writing, right? Like, my pen was what got me there. Rap is what got me to that seat there, to be honest with you. When I had to go back to school, and I say I had to go back to school because I had exhausted all my other options, working in warehouses, working as an exterminator, all of that shit. Like, I realized that they could just hire anybody in to come and do that job because it wasn't rooted in what I bring to the table mentally, creatively, or whatever. Anybody can write, right? But not everybody can write right. And then not everybody also has the experience and the stories to be able to kind of like articulate truths and insights through their writing. That's one of the things that made me valuable walking into different corporate places. Is my journey is different from a lot of the people that I might work with. I didn't go straight from high school to college and then to my job. I went from high school to college for a semester, failed out, was on academic probation, left, went and had kids, sold drugs, did music, bought a house, had to go into foreclosure, had the car get repossessed, lights cut off. And then I realized I needed to open up my options. And so I went back to school knowing that I have this gift of writing. And I used that for kind of like as my end. So I went back to school to do strategic advertising and creative advertising with a focus on copywriting, writing manifestos, writing scripts, writing voiceovers, writing slogans, writing magazine articles, web page, blog posts, whatever it was. I put the fingertips, the keys, or pen to paper, however you want it. And that's what got me through the door. My portfolio online was were like glorified raps on a focused topic, you know. And so I had a lot of, you know, a lot of work that made me stand out.
That's dope, because it's just like some of the dopest artists always have this like extra skill set where you look at Tyler, he knows how to direct videos. You look at Rocky, he also knows how to direct videos. You've got this writing aspect from a marketing point of view, copywriting and all these other things, and how to communicate with the team. I mean, to me, I mean, I think a lot of people could actually go ahead and try to direct videos. I'm not even trying to like diss myself as somebody who does do that for a living, but I think what you're doing is actually like really, really a unique skill set. I think it's not something everybody could just do, because like I know a lot of people talk all this shit about AI about to take over, bro. AI writing is fucking horrible. Like,
it's not gonna happen, yo.
It's not gonna happen.
It is. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it might happen for like small businesses and shit that want to rely on that. But if you're a premium brand, you're not gonna fuck.
I think it's a good. Yeah. It's a good tool to help you get something started. I use it to mainly get a bullet point or an idea fleshed out, and then I put in my own words.
Can I be honest? How's that any different than what we already had back in the days when we had to search shit on Google? And
I'll tell you why it's a little bit better. This is what it is. That is Google that you can have a conversation with.
That's what I was gonna say. It's literally just Google that you have conversation with.
It's like I use it as like as a person sitting next to me that knows everything.
It's an assistant.
So I'm like, yo, give me like 30 synonyms for this word, or you know what I'm saying, or like, what is, you know what I'm saying? I just ask my questions and get things that are gonna jog my thoughts.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, hey, write this for me. Because in order for you to get an output from an AI program that is accurate and hitting all your points, you already have to know all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to input it. So like, if you can't write a good prompt, if you don't have enough understanding of what it is you're trying to accomplish to write a well written and detailed prompt, you're not going to get the output that you want. It's going to miss. It's not going to hit the same. You're still going to have to make adjustments. So.
And if you're a bad writer already, you're not even going to understand that, yo, what they just gave us is trash. So like, you got a lot of people using it. I'm like, bro, this shit sounds like AI wrote it. Like, I can tell this is some chat GPT shit. It is interesting. Like I said, I think it's a great tool. Like, I think Lupe Fiasco's like developing some shit like this where it helps you like, you know, come up with rap shit. It's not it's not replacing you as a rapper, but like you said, like, oh, I want to like find out this metaphor and other things. But, you know, part of so much of what rap is like delivery and all this shit. And like I said, just being creative could work in the advertising field this way, and it could work in like, you know, putting music out and stuff like that, making art. So yeah, I hear you. It's a tool. I think
it's just to help you organize things. Like, what do you think? Like, you know how we're not going to sit here and lie and act like I don't use AI every day. Like you.
Well, no, I use it. I just think like if I'm trying to write something as a filmmaker, if I'm trying to write some dialogue should happen, throw it away, man. Like it's good.
Oh, yeah, it really depends. You have to, if it's writing in the voice of somebody else. So
I think it's great for technical writing. I think it's incredible for technical writing.
Email reply.
Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting to see the future of hip hop having this sort of technology at hand, though, and not to diss the, you know, I don't want to sound like an old head, but some of the rap shit out now is so bad that it can be replaced by AI.
Yes. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care about none of it, right?
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, like, the things that I'm writing, no AI machine is going to come up with these things. You know what I mean? Or it's going to take some time, right? And they're going to have to input what I make into that program.
Yeah.
Outputting some of those sorts of things. But my whole thing that I want to push with rapping and with music this year is just like imagination and real creativity. Like, I don't think when it comes to just like what people are around, I don't think they use their imagination much, yo. And I know it's all about like being real and all of that, and you can be real, but I think part of what's going to make my music stand out this year, what's going to make it fun, is the imagination that I'm putting into it, and the way that imagination influences my reference points and the lines that I'm coming up with, and the imagery, the visual component that the words are giving you. You know,
I think hip hop's going back to the underground anyways, and I don't mean that in some corny way, like some boom bap way. What I mean by is like if you look at the Billboard charts, if you are quote unquote hip hop, you're not really a hip hop artist. You're hip hop infused, right? Like you listen to a country record that's number 2 on the chart, shit got a trap beat on it. You know, if you listen to Taylor Swift, yeah, she's got like some record with Ice Spice, but like I grew up in an era where like Jay-Z or Wu-Tang could be on the charts, you know, on the Billboard charts, and they could just release straight raw shit. And that's going away. In a way, I think it's good because I think it's going to force people to like seek it out further. Hip hop was only cool when it wasn't accessible to me in a way because like it felt special. Like with everybody knows about it and it's diluted.
That's the trap era kind of made that formula, right? And that led right into the streaming era. So if you think about it, that music, as you know, the bounce and all that stuff, it led into the streaming era where everything was accessible. So then you have a formula to make a hit. And that's when artists like French Montana and all these people just started, not just like biting, but making it East Coast music and all that. So it was like, you know, it's all relative, but it also just shows that, okay, popular music has a formula. But if you're talking about like, how do you grab the ears and stuff? Yeah, you have to, you know, do the things, market yourself, sell the units. So units of clothing, or units of merch, units of whatever. That's what really shows that you're a popular artist now, not necessarily how many times you stream a record. Because Tekashi 6ix9ine goes out the ass with the streams, but he ain't popular. You know what I mean? At least in
then they're fair weather fans anyways. Like a lot of these people aren't going to stick around. Like I look at how many fucking hits came out a few years ago that were TikTok based. These kids are fucking nowhere to be found. You know, here and gone. So you know, unless some of these guys are smart, you know, like a lot of these kids probably didn't even intend on being rappers. I know kids that are becoming overnight hit makers and sensations because they just did it for fun and the shit blew up somehow on TikTok, and now they don't know what the fuck to do with it, right? They didn't put in the years. They didn't put, like Malcolm Gladwell wrote, like, you know, you got to put your how many hours is it? 10,000 or 10,000 hours. A lot of these didn't put their 10.
That's just the start.
That's just the start.
Exactly. Yeah, like 10,000 hours. That's on the low. That's on the low spectrum. That's just to be respected.
Yeah. And no, I agree. I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also the same way. Whereas, like, from my perspective as a director, I'll look at shit sometimes. I'm like kind of cringing about it. I'm like, oh, I did that. But then there are some things that I look back at and I'm like, damn, I did what I could with what I had, you know, the tools I had, the knowledge I had. I think as somebody that's trying to create art now, I'm at a point, and it sounds crazy to say, and I think maybe Nick is going through this. I have stability in a way where the art I do want to create, I don't need to worry about like if it's going to make me money or not. Like
that's exactly where I'm at. But I think that's what's going to make that's what makes it fun.
Makes it pure.
I'm back in this space where I'm having fun with it. There was a point in time where it become really stressful for me because I wanted it to be my everything, right? In terms
you want to generate income, you want to be able to monetize it, but
yeah.
When you're doing that, you want to hit all these points that you're supposed to hit. Like, to me, at the end of the day, if the music blows up, it's like lotto regardless, bro. Like, if you love the game, you're not going to fucking, you know, if you really understand the game, it is really like lottery. But that's not just music. Anything you do, you know, you're trying to play the lottery.
It's also, all right, so last night I was doing some, like, research for this album, right? Like, the overall sort of like concept and theme, and I don't want to speak on it now, right? Just because I want it to be a surprise when it drops, because it's funny, like. But it led me to the law of reverse effect, which is basically like the harder you work at something, the more easier it is for you to fuck it up, right? And it's a thing of like you're trying way too hard, and it's And the way they give an example, it's like, say, let's look at sports, for instance, right? Like, you work on your jump shot, right? And you get this perfect form. Eventually, there's a section of your brain that makes it muscle memory, right? So you don't have to think about the perfect form because your body already knows how to do it. The second, I'm sorry, this thing is like adjusting to me. The second that you start thinking about the technicals of your shot and your form, you're going to throw it off because you're no longer allowing the part of your brain that runs automated movement and activity.
It comes natural to you.
Do what it does. So, yes.
That's like that guy. You seen that
in the way and short circuiting it.
You seen that guy who the master 3-point shooter guy? You seen that guy? I seen it on Instagram. They put up this guy, the short dude. He hit like 100 3-pointers in a row, NBA 3-pointers in a row. But I seen it on Instagram. They invited him on to the NBA Tonight Show with Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaq, and they were like, "Yo, show us, what your skills are, whatever." The studio had a lower ceiling, and he had a high arc on his shot. So he's like, "Yo, I have to adapt my shot to hit that thing." And Kenny's like challenging him to do the 3-pointer, and he's like, "Yeah, come on, just let's have a shoot off. Just 3 shots." Kenny was like, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. This guy, man. He was line driving it, bouncing off the back of the rim. And then there's other videos of him that's like when he was doing it with his mechanics, like you said, the muscle memory, dude was knocking him down. And it's just, like he couldn't adapt. He didn't know. He only knew what he knew from what he, what he had practiced so much. He couldn't conform to like that, what the new ecosystem was that he was in. And it made it. I mean, he looked like a fool. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, yo, if you need to learn how to adapt now in this world, everything's changing,
I think part of that comes with the place of, I think also sometimes that could come from a place of insecurity where you're trying to over project, right?
Yeah.
And when I say insecurity, is like you might sometimes, and it sounds crazy as a filmmaker to say this, but there were times where I over prepared for a shoot and nothing went the way I actually planned it to go, right? I had a fucking shot list ready, storyboard, things that I never did back then when I was doing it DIY. And I just had to fucking throw that shot list out the window because like, bro, none of this shit is working out. Because there's so many elements when you enter a set, things that could go wrong, or artist is like just vibing differently. There's so many things that's really just about the energy when you come in to do it. And you fuck up your energy when you try to over-prepare, overthink. And there's a great book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blink. I don't know if you guys ever read this.
Never read that one.
Check it out if you get a chance. It talks about sort of like sometimes some of your best instinctual like decision making is the best because you've sort of evolved as a human being, right?
Yeah.
To know these things. So you're kind of fucking that system up. And interesting thing is, if you guys remember Kenna, right? Who I'm still actually working with right now. There's a whole chapter on him called Kenna's Dilemma, and it talks about like, yo, this shit, like for some reason, like he's got the looks, he's got the sound, he's got the music. Why is this shit not popping off? And I can't remember everything about it, but it's a very, very interesting.
That sounds familiar. Kenna's Dilemma. I think I may have heard about that chapter.
Yeah, that chapter's called Kenna's Dilemma, and you know Kenna, Nick.
Yeah,
yeah. So he's still doing his thing. He's running stuff at RCA's and tech.
Chad, right? He was
doing
a lot of music with Chad.
Yeah. Chad produced the first whole album, and then the second album was Pharrell and Chad together. And then
did Jared do some joints with him?
I don't know. They were homies. They knew each other. I don't know if they ever actually do any joints. I don't know. Jared kind of worked with a lot of people, so sometimes it's just some homie shit. Sometimes it's just networking. Sometimes you work with them. Like surprisingly, I think he did some records for. I think Jared did some shit for Camp Low, which was crazy. But but yeah, man, I think that's what I like. I feel like you're in a space where you're sort of comfortable. You're having fun. People know when you're having fun,
Yeah, I'll say this about where I'm at right now. I'm getting more and more comfortable every day, right? Like, so I spent 5 years away from social media, from putting music out and all of that. I just spend my time as a hermit, just creating. And in a frenzy, like I created more in that 5-year time period that I was gone than probably any other time in my life, right? I have so much music. It's sickening. I have a hard time sleeping at night when I think about how much shit that I got on these hard drives that's not out in the world, making my case for me, like backing my case, right? Like my case is one of the greats, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like I be thinking to myself, like, if they only heard this yet, like they haven't heard this one yet. Like there's so much. And you know, like I said, I'm gonna be dropping all of that shit. I'm out the back, but to back what I was saying, I'm still getting used to being in front of the camera, to posting, to I have to set an alarm to remember to go on IG and check it. Like it wasn't an aspect of my life for so long that I have to consciously make that decision to go online. And like I'm still backed up with messages from a couple years ago.
Damn,
so many. And when I go through, I see a lot of opportunities that I missed just because I wasn't on there. Like,
you know what you should do, Nick?
Surprised. Yeah,
you should. I think there are apps for Twitter and IG and all this shit where you could just literally schedule it. I think you just take one day out. That way you don't gotta always worry about this shit. Cause is it annoying every day you gotta be a guy on social media? There's an app, right? I think you know better about this shit, like TweetDeck and all these things that exist.
Yeah, where tweet and all that.
You can literally just like schedule all this shit out.
Did that Monday.com do that? Is that Monday? Do they do that?
I don't know.
Nah, that's like a productivity thing. But nah, I mean, you could try to use those things, but like, it's really usually an assistant, really. If you have, somebody that can help you.
But, yeah, you know, I've been getting a lot of help with it though. Shout out to Will, man. He's been he's been really helpful with helping me to kind of like readjust to that. You know, right now, what's top of mind for me is getting a hold of the aesthetic again, though, and making sure that I'm not just doing the same things that everybody else is doing on social media. Like, making sure that I remain unique and I remain true to myself, and deliver to my fans like what it is they need from me. You know. And so, like I said, every day I'm getting more and more comfortable. I'm kind of figuring it out. The internet isn't the same as what it was in 2018, right? Like,
remember 2008? We used to do the hip hop game shit. Like we were in, bro. Like I feel like Nick was a not right darling. You know, where they fuck with them. You know, it was a strange era for me because. I used to have it in easy, right? Like I started managing a few artists because of it, because I just knew like, because they loved what I did with Pharrell and all these guys, that they would have a different respect for me. So when I would hit up like Two Dope Boys or Not Right, that blog era, I just be like, yo, here's this artist I'm fucking with. And they would just trust my taste at that point, you know, no matter what it was. And they would just show me stamp, you know, okay, cool, let's put it out there. And I feel like you also sort of had that advantage too at that point, right? Like a lot of those guys fuck with you. So anything Nickelus F is putting out is gonna go on a Not Right. It's gonna go on certain places in Complex, because Complex sort of had the, you know, ownership of the umbrella for all those things. Times have changed, bro. Like the blog era is dead, and then we entered the social media era where shit's obviously. I think now we're about to hit like a whole nother thing, you know. And I think also
what is that? Like,
well, I don't think you could be. I don't think it's sustainable to be a full-time hip-hop artist if that's how you want to make a living for the average person. I think if you're gonna do it, you got to do it for the love. I think there's a point, you could make a lot of money doing it, but I think with the way the noise is, you got to cut through the noise, right? There's too many fucking people in this shit. So like, you really have to understand, when I call this shit the lottery, like you got to think how many people are playing scratch offs and hoping like, oh, I'm gonna be able to like cut through that noise. I think the best thing you do is make what you love at the end of the day. Rick Rubin was talking about like, yo, don't even make shit for your audience, make shit for yourself. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. I think that's also the mentality you kind of got to have right now, right? Your audience deserves better. Like, you know,
to me, dog, I'm at a spot where it's just all about just like happiness, right? Like, so, making music and putting it out is what makes me happy. And so I'm like no longer in a spot where like I'm competing with anybody, right? But that's why I'm about to go past, like I'm because of the fact that I'm not competing, right? it's going to reflect. It's going to come through in the quality of the music.
Yep.
It's going to come through in my aura and the energy that's coming out into the world. And you know, it's going to be successful in the way that it's supposed to be.
Well, Hugh and Nick, both of you guys been together for what, almost 20 years now? How long has it been? I would say 20 years, right?
Yeah,
I met
2003.
There's
so much changed since then. Like
20 years,
everything. I lost my hair. He grew his hair. We got like, I mean, like it's just seeing his brother evolve, and just the paths that we've taken in life are totally like the same path but different. The outcomes for both of us have been different. Meaning, we both like. It's funny. You know how they say people are supposed to be in your life that makes sense. Whatever. Like Nick was there to show me that you know what I was after in the music business wasn't necessarily what I intended. Like the people I met were amazing, the experiences were amazing, but like what I expected from the artists and all that stuff wasn't, because I always thought of it as artists were commodities to me. And I'm sorry, you know, like Nick was a commodity. As much as we're brothers, I just thought like, yo, dog, go in there and make that fucking song. Now you just say shit like that. Yo, make that. Here's the beat, like whatever. This bounce, whatever. Like these types of things, and he'd do it or whatever. And we'd work the records and we'd get the things and all, you know. And I was just a dumb kid, you know. But then, you know, as I grew up, as he grew up, and everybody else around us grew up, we started seeing like what the real world's like. And we're like, you know, what it really takes, and seeing artists come and go and all this other stuff. And now it's like, and I know it comes later in life for everybody, obviously, like success. So, you know, everybody came to those crossroads a little later, and I'm happy for it because I learned so much, met so many great people, and did so many great things. You know,
we run a marketing agency now.
Yeah,
one rapper, right? And now, how many artists did we do? We do things for Tizo Touchdown.
Yeah, and
Kenny Mason, Toby, Drum. Who else are we working with? Hugh. Like now, we have to manage in a way 20 to 30 artists. You know, from the major ones to the big ones. Like we are responsible for that over at Affiliation.
And
it originates from what Nick was doing. Nick sort of created, and again, I'm not just trying to ass kiss here, Nick. I have no reason for it these days. No, seriously though, Nick, let me tell you something. How much where I was in my life. I was a kid studying computer science at ODU. Hated the idea that one day I would have to graduate and get a computer programming job. Hated that fucking idea, right?
Honestly, it's funny. Like even now that I'm in the music industry, a lot of people don't know I'm studying tech.
He's going the opposite route. But for me, but you got to understand, what made it dope for me is because there are few people that inspired me to do what I did, to get into what I got into, is because it was the locality of what was going on. I was like, oh shit, Pharrell's like right there. Nick is right here. This other kid is right there. Timbaland, all these people. Han and all.
It's that Def Jam.
No. But what I'm saying is it was luck for sure in a way that I met you guys, because honestly, when I met Nick, for me, and I'm being honest, money wasn't the motivation. I didn't see Nick as like some cash cow. I saw Nick as a type of like person I could try my shit out on, because he gave me the fucking respect to be like, yeah, sure, you could do my photos, you could design my mixtape cover, you could do my music video, you could do my websites. I don't know if Nick still grasps this idea, but the thing is, the shit I did for you, Nick, was what I showed to fucking Pharrell and all these guys. Say, hey, I could make a DVD for you guys, you know? Mm-hmm. And so you're the reason I had a portfolio. It went to me getting an internship at Star Trek. Eventually them respecting me enough when I'm shooting a music video for Pusha T and them. Fast track 20 years now. It's literally been 20 plus years we've known each other. Fast track 20 plus years later, I'm in a completely different space. Like I'm a video director, but when I talk about like I'm comfortable not having to make money, I've been, thanks to my wife, I was smart enough to invest in like 12 properties and paid them all off and shit, made my bread, got myself in a position where I'm like, okay, so I've made a few $1 million, but you know what? I don't give a fuck about that. Because when I made the most money I ever had, my wife had a brain tumor. So I couldn't even enjoy that fucking first $1 million that I touched. Because I was like, oh man, it started making me think all this could go away. All this happiness can go away. None of this fucking monetary achievement is going to do it for you either. What does it for you? When you're doing the art itself is what makes you happy. It's not how much money. Yeah, having money is nice. But you know what? I had to disconnect. I had to disconnect myself, say, okay, this thing is what's making money. Let's keep that over there. If this art makes me money, great. At a certain point, the two worlds collided. I had to make art to make money. I got to a point where I did enough of that, where it got me enough money where I kind of made smart investments at the time, which I don't think I could even do now based on how expensive real estate is. But at the time, it was just the right place at the right time. But I look back at it all, I'm like, shit, if I never fucking met Nick, I would probably be behind a computer desk hating my fucking life.
You know why I wouldn't say that though? Because you knew what you wanted to do.
Right? Yes, but
so
no.
If it wasn't me, you would have found somebody else. This is the thing.
Nick, you gotta understand. Let me very humble of you. Let me tell you. Can I just add?
I don't agree with that all the way.
You were such a magnetic thing to the community that if it was some other kid, I did that same. Before you, I did shit for these other kids. Nobody looked at it. So it didn't really get me anywhere. Your shit was so dope. When I put it out into the internet, when I put it on a Star Trek forum, people were like, who the fuck is that? That's, I know you met Drake a certain kind of way, but I also met Drake because I was also on that forum pushing the shit out doing with Star Trek. So like people we met along all this adventure, it's really, I think we all helped each other out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope I was able to help you out, when I did.
Oh, definitely.
I think I did. But I think we all, because like somebody like Arnold will come back to me and be like, yo, man, that site you made for Nick, I looked at that shit and shit inspired me. Or I hear these types of stories where people are like, yo, you guys were early on doing some of this shit you guys were doing. And so like, I look back at it, I'm like, shit, man, it's been 20 something plus years of planting seeds to get to this point. Because you got to understand, the first 10 years, I was not eating off of this. You know what I'm saying?
It takes a long time for a tree.
It's a long time, bro. Like, it takes a long time
for it to start bearing fruit.
Yes, because even
would you say that you're in the best position you've been financially from 20 years ago?
Me?
You. I'm asking you too.
Absolutely. I took my mother and Shorty to a dinner tonight, and didn't even have to look at the bill. I looked at it just to see.
Yeah,
I didn't have to look, and we can get anything off the menu.
Great feeling.
And I can sit there in my Timberlands and my jeans and a family reunion shirt from 20 years ago.
Yo,
you know what I mean? But know that any one of these cards in here are going to work. You know what I mean?
Oh, what a great feeling! What a great blessing! And it's the simple thing like that. I don't think I don't know how you feel about it. But
on auto pay. The moment I was able to put my bills on auto pay, everything was different. That's when it was different. That was the key thing to me.
I think the biggest struggle an artist faces is how are they gonna get their next meal, So like that's why what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these fucking kids that are in arts, especially in the filmmaking, a lot of these motherfuckers have rich parents, bro. A lot of these artists, you'd be shocked.
So many. No, that's one thing that I've come to learn.
Creative freedoms.
It's always been a surprising thing when I found out like how not everybody came up the way that we did. Yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of people who did have head starts, right? But also remember, like, everybody's journey is different, right? And what's meant for you is what's meant for you.
Yep.
And your journey, if you pay attention to it and you're present in it, is going to be rewarding and it's going to be enriching for you. You just got to pay attention to the signs.
I hate it when I see an artist that's like super dope, but they gave up on it because they didn't make it out in that side of the world financially. I can't judge them for it, but I hate seeing a potential go to waste. So it makes me so happy that you're creating music and you don't have to fucking worry about like, oh, how do I keep this roof over my head? Like, for me, I'm a simple guy, bro. Like, if I'm able to acquire what I always wanted when I was in high school, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? If I can afford a pair of Timbs in the Air Forces, I'm cool. I don't need fucking all the Balenciaga, all this crazy shit. Like, I'm happy just like hitting a certain threshold, hitting a certain standard, and I'm grateful for it. I think one thing people don't realize is the art of like being able to be grateful. People yeah.
Yo, I'm trying to tell you, the day I started waking up and counting my blessings instead of tallying up all the things that were wrong.
Yeah.
But I started saying thank you for all the things that are right.
Yeah.
And that's when things start changing. And the universe responds to gratitude, yo.
100%, bro.
There's too much entitlement and not enough gratitude, yo. And humility, gratitude, yo. Those are the things. Those are the keys to happiness, right? Like, that's when you can actually write. Like, I just adopted this blessing jar sort of thing, like where it's just like a jar, and all throughout the year you just write down your blessings, big or small. Tear a little piece off and drop it in there, so at the end of the year you can go back and see all the great things that have happened to you. Like, people are so entitled, and social media causes people to be so depressed by what they don't have, because they're looking at what everybody else has.
Oh, God.
And then they completely look over their own blessings, yo. I could sit there and be upset because, you know, this person has this much money and made it to this level, and this person is that famous, and I didn't reach that or that. But then I would be disregarding all of the beautiful blessings and experiences that I had and that I've dealt with. And then there are a whole bunch of other people who look to me like, damn, yo, if I could just get there,
man. That's what I said. That's the gratefulness part.
Where people come up and tell me that, like, people I went to high school with, like, was just like, yo, if I could just make it to be good enough and to just stand on a stage, you know what I'm saying, next to you and have a set before you open up for you. If I was able to do that, yo, I would be happy. I would feel like I made it.
Everything is so relative, man. People don't realize it, bro. Like, when we get on social media, you see your friend on this vacation and they're taking a lot of vacations and they're doing this and that. They're only showing the fucking highlights, man. You know, when my wife had brain tumor, I didn't announce that shit. At the same time, I was hopping out of a fucking brand new i8 with the doors up like a Lambo, and I felt like a fucking douchebag. Because I'm like, man, how can I even enjoy this shit? And I was like, that's, I think, God's way. Not to get all religious and shit, but like, I think that's God's ways of humbling you. Because it's just like, I can take any of this away from you. Anything can happen to your health, your family. You should be grateful, man. Every day now, I'm just like, man, I used to get upset at the material shit, man. Like, and when I say that, like, I went on a video shoot, somebody fucking scratched my side mirror on the car. Oh, I'm about to have this fucking terrible day now. Think dwelling on it. You can't dwell on that shit. Because you know why? When you start realizing all this material shit will fade, get scratched, stop valuing the materialistic shit.
Those things don't love you back at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. You stop valuing the material shit, you'll be happy. And I wish there was like some sort of...
Your wife loves you back.
Oh, but I wish... The reason I think rappers fall victim to this shit, because so much of them come from struggle, so much come from not having it, and they see all this shit, and then when they finally get a little bit of it, they don't have enough experience or education. They fucking spend it like crazy, and then they don't even take care of it. They can't even hold on to it, and there should be like some sort of program or something that teaches you different, you know. But the record label industry don't fucking.
You know what it is?
It's life, though.
You know what's funny? It doesn't even make them happy. How about that? The years didn't make them happy.
No,
even if it was still
that shit makes you happy for a little bit, you know, like, oh, you first got it, you look at it as a trophy. But I don't wake up every day and just keep looking at a trophy like
you get.
I like nice shit. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not saying you shouldn't like shit. Look. I'm not saying you shouldn't like nice shit.
I know what you're saying, but it's just like if you attaining those things. That look, I came from the suburbs, a nice upbringing, all that. I always had nice shit growing up. I just like nice shit, and that's one of those things that I've always. Not necessarily I aspire to get better stuff and better lifestyle. That's what kind of makes me happy. I'm not really into the simplicity. You know what I mean? I
get what you're saying here. What I'm trying to explain though is like, I think I think one part people don't understand is it's a forever. I'll say this, right? And then I'm not trying to flex. Never in my life, when I had a Seiko, did I think I'd be able to afford a Rolex. I'm 3 Rolexes deep in right now. And I caught myself one day being so fucking grateful because I'm like, fuck, man, I got 3 Rolexes. Why can't I get a fucking Patek? Or why can't I get a... I'm like, are you listening to your fucking self? Are you listening to your...
That's where you're at in life, though. That's where you at in life.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, it's a bad way to look at shit, man. Because you will, when you get the fucking Patek, all of a sudden you want the Cartier crash that costs $1 million. Because it's a never-ending fucking chase.
What happens is, I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
What it is, yo, is it's trying to
it's trying to fill a void.
Impress. What I think it's trying to get the attention from certain people, right? So it's like a rollie is like fire to any layman, right? But when you're in another room with another level of people, and it's like, oh nah, they just kind of like
that's basic.
Laughing, this isn't nothing. Like they got this, right,
bro? So that literally happened to me not that long ago. I was like,
nah, it's a thing of getting it. It's a thing of acceptance, right? Because at some point in our life, everybody there was one point where you didn't feel good enough, where you didn't feel cool enough, where you didn't feel like you fit in enough. And so a lot of times we cope by doing this. I know that I'm this way. I spent so many years of my life broke and not being able to do things that now I'm always reaching for the check. I won't let nobody pay for nothing, right? Because I need to show people that, hey, I made it. I'm up. You don't got to worry about that no more. Right?
Yeah.
Still a matter of acceptance. I was talking to the homie the other day, and he was talking about how, he spent all this money on all this drip, right? But it was to impress certain people. And I'm just like, yo, dog, you realize that anybody that's moved and swayed by what it is that you're wearing, you need to worry about impressing them anyway. Yeah, like
exactly.
It's the low hanging fruit. So I still fall victim to it.
We all do.
Things. I still shudder at the price I spent on a pair of Cardis, right?
Yeah.
Like I shiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then half the time I don't even want to wear them shits out because I'm like, goddamn, like I thought I lost some shit before.
Yo, that's what I was talking about. Like they're gonna fade, they're gonna scratch. I hate that feeling. Like when I had the i8, I fucking broke the doors off the car. I was like, oh my God, this is a $25,000 fucking bill, bro. Like that's, and the thing is cool. Like, and can I be honest though? I never made money. And maybe this is a lesson for some people that's listening. Me personally, I never made money chasing money. I made money doing what I loved, and people saw it, and more people. Nobody ever came to me and said, you know what, let me go hire Show Me because he's got fucking 3 rollies. And no, man, motherfuckers know I'm a fucking film nerd. They know what I'm good at. They know I'm passionate about that shit. That's why they're coming to me. But the fucking thing is, I happen to be around guys like Pusha T and all these guys so it's easy to fall into that trap to want to keep up. But I'm like, come on, man, let's get a reality check. Those guys are different. I'm not gonna be fucking Pharrell, bro. I'm okay with that.
Doesn't that, like, to me, like, just not to misconstrue what I said about like, like having nice shit, but I'm saying, like, when I'm in those circles where, I've been in circles with billionaires and stuff in this tech stuff, right? They don't flaunt their riches and whatnot, but they got a personal chef, they got a driver, all that other shit. And when I see those things, I don't necessarily look at it with envy or like, damn, I gotta keep up. I look at it like, yo, what did you do to get there? That's what I always ask those questions, like, what did you do to get to this? And they tell me their stories. That's like we're telling our stories, right?
Right.
And that's always been motivation for me because they know different than us. Like, right? They got a little college education. They came from humble upbringings and blah, blah, blah. It's just that they did something. They won that lottery. Anybody who has tons of money will tell you it's a lottery. It's not, you can't the best ideas in the world.
It's
like
lottery of life.
Doug, this motherfucking guy used to sleep on my couch when I was living in New York in 2001. 2002, 2001. Yeah. He came up with the idea for iTunes. We were trying to sell it to Universal. Like, he was sitting on my couch, living on our couch. Drew up, dude, he had iTunes mapped out in 2001, brought it up to Universal. They thought he was insane. And like, nah, nobody's going to download music. 3 years later, Apple iTunes comes out and Apple, and he, you know, and but I'm like, okay, this guy, he's a millionaire now too, but he's doing real estate. Like,
Yeah.
but like those types of things, those stories, those types of people who have that spark in them to do things, whether it's artistically, business wise. Again, you're gonna get it done if you have the right ideas. But I don't think like, you know, it's not a bad thing to have material stuff. It's fun to flex. I think it's always fun to flex. That's what social media is for at the end of the day, like to share those things, right? But then you do hit a threshold. Like I feel like I'm gotten, since I just bought a house now, I'm at that
Big
point
ass
where
house.
I'm like, no, but like,
You still got a bowling alley in it?
no, I wish, but like, I'm at this point where it's like, yo, I don't even leave my house to enjoy this shit.
But here's the thing about it: but to get these things, we're not going to deny that you didn't work hard. Like to get that idea, to get that house, or to get that car.
No, it takes hard work. I'm saying what I'm saying is
you got to work smart. Like, you got to work smart.
Nobody's like
Be smart.
over here.
What I'm saying though is,
We
if I
worked
lost
hard
it all,
back in the day.
if I lost it all though, I can live with this. You know why? Because that's the thing a lot of people can't face. When people hit their bottom, they are like, oh my God, I lost everything. No, you didn't, man. If you're still breathing and you still got the ability, you still got your skill set, you can fucking do it again. Because I've been there, yo. Like, when I had two studios I couldn't afford anymore, I went through the first recession in 98 and the funny thing is, it's so funny when you look back at the past, right? Back when I was starting to get like my first, like, saw my bank account have $50,000, $100,000, I was like, wow, this is so much money. I'll never reach this ever again. And then when I lost it all, I said, I'm fucking done. But bro, never did I think I'd be able to fucking, 10x that level of income. Mm-hmm. And I'm not bragging about it. What I'm saying is, it's so funny looking back at things and having that foresight, that thing when you look back at it. When you think like, oh, you hit the pinnacle and shit, I think you just gotta, like you said, the gratitude jar is so important. I say this more, Hugh, as a mental health thing, because it started affecting my mental health when I started. You get bitter, man. Motherfuckers get bitter. Even when they got everything, they get bitter because they're like, well, so-and-so is not as talented to me as me, and he's got this gig and he's got that going on. Yo, you don't know what they actually have going on personally. There's also a lot of people that are broken, and that's all they have is the fucking material, and they don't have the soul,
Yeah, it's definitely about what's inside of you, That's where you're going to be happy at, and it's about your outlook and perspective. Like, I say this all the time, your outlook is literally like the most important thing, There's a guy, right? So I moved into this new building, right? Beautiful building, best view in the city, crazy amenities. Is like,
is this what you live off your lap?
The ceiling fan. You got a ceiling fan.
But you dreamed about living just like how you are right now.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Exactly. 100%. Like this spot where I'm at, I manifested this over years, and I
that's what you got to do.
But the thing that I was going to say though, I'm gonna tell you the thing that I was gonna say though, like when I first moved there, I had like a weird situation because there's like a park that's like right here, right? That kind of like leads over to the river and the flood. Well, there's a guy right here that sleeps underneath the bridge, and he's been there for years. There were people that sleep in their cars every night in that parking lot, and there was a point in time when I was sleeping out of my car and told nobody, right?
I didn't know that.
Quiet about it, sleeping out of my car, right? But the whole thing to say is like, this man is happy over here. This guy that lives under the bridge, he's happy. And somebody like me, I couldn't imagine being happy in that situation. That's what I'm thinking about, like providing for the kids and so on and so forth. But he's content, he's happy, and his perspective is that way. You know what I mean? It's his outlook. People bring this man stuff all day long, yo. This man,
he's living good.
I'll watch from my balcony. Look, I watch from my balcony as I'm looking for my Uber Eats, right? This guy has people pulling up every single day that's coming up with trays and food, like,
wow,
like all day long.
Maybe he's got to figure it out.
got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But that's all just to say, like, it's your perspective. It's the way you can have everything in the world, yo. But if you don't know how to be grateful for it, you don't have enough empathy to understand that you're in a better situation than others, you're going to be unhappy no matter what you get. You're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to be looking to impress somebody else, but you're always going to be looking at what it is that you don't have instead of focusing on the things that you do have. And when everything else gets taken away, you just start looking at your health. Yeah. Right? Now, my heart is beating. Both of my legs work. My knees work. Right? My shoulders. I still got mobility. Yeah. That's king. I know people out here that got money, yo, but they falling apart physically. 100%. Like, what can you do? You feel what I'm saying? Like, can you go outside and run? Jog, can you take your trash out on your own? Right? These are important things. You understand? Like, I spend I'm worried about, like, my dad got knee surgery. My mom got knee surgery and issues. So I'm thinking, okay, every single day I drop down and do full squats, like all the way to not even also building my legs up shit, just to keep mobility in my knees. Because when you start getting older, there are going to be people who can't bend down. You can't bend it. You drop something on the floor.
Dude, I run a mile every day now. I run a mile every day now. I try to run a mile every single day now.
Yes, sir. Every day. Yes, sir.
My red gym was 20 minutes away. And just because I'm comfortable over there, there's no, you know what I mean? I will drive 20 minutes, run a mile, work out. Yeah. It's not even about building my body.
I think this is also going to be the year of the health shit, man. People are going to get more health conscious.
Extend your life, yo. Yeah. Start running every day. You extend your life. Like, it's a fact. You'll retain your mobility as you get older. I'll just hang. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, the pull-up bar. Like, for real. Like, that's the whole thing. For one, it helps your spine, strengthens your spine, your grip strength, and all of that, but you just want to keep all your mobility. My body is really what's the most important. You feel what I'm saying? This is the temple. You live inside of this. You got a house, right? But you as a person, as an entity, you live inside of this, right? And so take care of that too. Like that's like the real important, you know. And I'm grateful for that too.
Do you still drink and stuff like that?
No, I don't drink like that, yo. And I even
Nick, I knew. Yo.
No, dog. I mean, dog. I
used to have a whole bottle of Henny, right?
Yeah,
we got on stage.
Nah, I don't drink, man. Yo, I'm 41 with a 6-pack. Like, I'm shredded up on here. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'll run.
Well, I'm 35, one hand engaged. Like, I gotta now. I realize, like, holy shit! Like, I live for somebody else.
Yeah, dog, I even slow my smoking down, yo. I don't smoke during the day. I smoke on the weekends mainly. I was going through like 1.5 ounces a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, just last year, in the past 3-4 months, I'll like buy like one a month. You feel what I'm saying? Just slow it down. I'll smoke after work. I won't smoke while on the clock. If I smoke at all during the week, I'll just smoke on the weekend. I'm maturing, yo.
Yeah,
only took 20 some odd years. Yeah, but that's bad. But that's the way it is. That's the same with me, bro. I around the same age as you. No, look, like maybe when I was 30. Right after I got married, I started slowing down, but I still got it in every time I went out. Like I drink, and I just stopped. And then and I was focused right before the pandemic. I was focused on physical fitness a lot, hooping all the time. Fell off of that. Now my only vice is like food because everything's so accessible. Like they bring the ribs right to the door. They bring the scrambled eggs right to the door. You know what I mean? So it's like, So that's one thing that I gotta do better at. But you're right. Like with your body is your temple, and I'm so concerned about like that. That's the only thing that gives me the anxiety nowadays. Like when I check my blood pressure or when I
notice. Go ahead. No, you go. I was gonna say, you notice how many? Oh, sorry. Keep talking. We'd have to edit these parts out.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. It's okay.
No, what I was going to say is y'all notice how many fucking young rappers have passed away? I mean, when I say young, I'm talking about rappers that are 50. That to me is young. And I mean, this market is not that old. You know what I'm saying? If you really think about the average lifespan.
No, that's like the community. I mean, that's just like hip hop and black culture in general. We're not taught to go to the fucking doctor. We're not taught financial literacy. We're not taught how to do anything.
Like that's not even in
life insurance and shit. No, nobody knows that shit.
I think all that shit's gonna have to change, and I think it's for
it has changed.
Have those times. Yeah, it is changing. It's up for it's a lot of us to have those conversations openly with artists, with rappers and shit, because then other rappers won't feel like,
whoa, he got kicked. No, just to piggyback on what he's saying, like these guys now understand what they do before they even get in again. They have a business plan already. They already know what they're about to invest in, what they're about to do.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And those are things, Nick, you and I knew nothing about that shit. Like we got in the music business, it was about getting a record deal.
Well, look,
right?
That's what I was explaining this to somebody the other day. Like, we didn't have all the examples of all the stories that we're familiar with now, right? We were coming up in a time, I refer to it as the Wild Wild West, right? And is a time in between times, right? Where, it was hard to have these sorts of projections, right? And understanding of the possibilities, right? Because we hadn't seen those stories and those avenues weren't open at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's
You're also 22, so you think your liver is all right back then. You're 24. You do. I'm 25 now.
You're that young. You feel invincible, dude.
It's kicking my ass now. Like,
yeah. I'll tell you what really slowed me down, y'all, was heartburn, acid reflux, like a motherfucker. That's what really stopped the drinking. Like, I was drinking. Like the last tour I did, y'all, I drank so much that like the fire that I would feel just all in here. Like I couldn't lay down at night. And so like I would wake up coughing and in sweat. Like all this coughing and heaving. And I'm thinking something's wrong with my lungs and shit. Like I've been smoking too much and all of this, yo. Come to find out it was the acid. And as I lay down, this shit just goes up in here and it's just burning my shit up. Like you ever get that crazy little tickle at your throat and you might think it's allergies or something. You got that tickle right here. You start thinking that's some like polyp or something. Nah, motherfucker, that is acid coming up from your stomach through your windpipe and it's burning your shit up. And that's how people end up getting things like throat cancer and those sorts of things. It's really a lot of the times from the acid reflux coming up and, you know what I'm saying, irritating this area for like a really long time.
Even your gut, getting your gut health is everything. Like my fiance, like it's serious, man. Like you have to really live.
Think about it. I really hope we can enter this era of like healthier artists because your physical health is so tied to your mental health, And I think we could have all this shit figured out. We just, a lot of people say you need all that tragedy to like make music. I don't think self-harm is the type of tragedy we need to make.
That's the thing. That's the sad thing. We gotta like the people have to champion smart decisions, right? Like people love to see a train wreck. People love to see a car crash. People love to see somebody crash out because they want headlines. They want to be able to talk about it. They want to be able to post about it. People aren't gonna post and champion you for being healthy or making wise decisions, right? Like people like the story of the crash out, especially the younger audience, right? Because they want confirmation that they can make those bad decisions too, right?
What do you think of, like, speaking of that, like what Kanye is now? Like, is he a train wreck or is he a brilliant guy? Never mind all the anti-Semitism shit, but just think about like what he's doing. He's hurt still.
I think he's hurt. Yeah, he's definitely hurt. I think he's hurt. I think he feels betrayed. But I think he's also privy to knowledge that other people necessarily he has an experience, right? And he has a journey. And he doesn't exactly. He's having a hard time articulating his journey and what he's been through in a way that people can accept it and understand it and possibly help him to heal.
He's always been like that, though. Like,
but you got to think, as he's gotten wealthier, you're around a lot of yes men. You're around a lot of people where they find inner strength in the other person's weakness. The person that's actually making the money, having the power, if they have those flaws, you stick around longer because they need you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Sometimes That's just how the shit goes. You know, a lot of the yes men around you are gonna stick around because it's just like, all right, cool, I'll just agree with whatever he's saying. A lot of people are afraid to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying, to these people. I'm sort of glad I'm in a world where, like, if me and Ferg are having a conversation and he's like my brother, I'm just straight up honest with him about certain things. You know, and he appreciates that. Me and Ferg now have a friendship that goes back 12 years now. You know, that's a long time. And so me and Ferg, I've seen his highs and lows. I've seen him hit 7 times platinum and then come back down. He's feeling bad. Ferg and I have a very similar conversation to what we're having with Nick. We talk about these things now. So it's really cool to see, like, you know, to have that conversation. I don't know if Kanye is having those types of conversations about being grateful and things. I think he's, like Nick said, I think he's very hurt, right? When he lost his mom, I've seen everything in his life just go downward spiral and nobody was there to really, again, I don't know that man personally.
Did it really go?
It definitely spiraled, bro.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're measuring his success based on that $1 billion.
No. But then, look, he talks like that.
Now it's gone. That $1 billion.
He's still. But believe me, he's still getting it.
But trust me, him getting it doesn't mean that he's happy getting it. Because if he was happy getting it, he would have been happy with anything he had.
No, but he has. The thing is. Yeah, but like I feel like
when you look at Kanye,
he's chasing artistic.
Nah, you gotta realize too, like he's scared too, right? Yeah. He's scared of certain things. He's scared of certain people. Yeah, but he's also has things without saying things. And he, you know, like I said, he don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I think he's trying to continue to make history. I think he has a lot he wants to share with the world in terms of art and just different things like that.
Can we be honest though? I think we got to stop looking at rich people. Can we stop looking at rich people as like they know what they're doing all the time? Because you look at Kanye, yes, he made $1 billion. Cool.
But I think he does know what he's doing.
No. Listen.
He said he wanted out of his Adidas deal. Got out of his Adidas deal.
We don't know if that's a good thing. We don't know how any of this is good. I've seen billionaires become millionaires. I've seen millionaires become 100,000 I've seen 100,000 go to zero, and I've seen billion to zero, and I've seen billionaires, not seen, but in the news, I've seen billionaires jump off of buildings, right? So what the fuck does it all mean? None of that shit means anything. You look at a guy like Kanye West, he clearly has mental health issues. He clearly has like bipolar disorder. 100% he does. What do you mean does? 100%.
No, I mean
he has all the signs.
You have to understand the personality that you're dealing with.
Bro, I have friends that have mania, and I see how they talk when they have a manic episode. You know, he has manic episodes that everybody around him are so greedy, are not doing shit to help him out. They're all literally using him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's using him around. And he said it himself when he looked at everybody on that one online rant he went to. Like, none of you guys, I can trust.
Well, he's aware. See, that's the thing. You got to be socially aware.
Yeah, but you're not fully aware when you have mania. You're aware at certain times, you know?
I get it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, this shit is not going to end well for him as long as he continues this way, because it could end in suicide. You know? Easily. He raps about this shit. He raps about wanting to commit suicide.
Yeah.
This is not
I feel like him, the power trip is, Dave Dash said this in an interview recently. We were talking about how Kanye's influence like supersedes the things that he's saying. He's like, look, he got you all out here dressing like homeless people. What? He got you all wearing these Yeezy shoes. He got you all but the thing is, that's where he gets his energy, that influence. Like Kanye's always said, like, always wanted to be influential, and he was very influential to this whole generation now. Like any kid that was born from like 1995
now, that's not always Van Gogh.
No, but like he's the god to them. That's basically what I was like, art history wise. Yeah,
I want to speak to this though. You said he has a whole lot of influence, right? And he has tons of influence, right? But who do you know that has tons of influence and is not watched, monitored, and checked? And this is why I say I feel like
for sure
scared. I feel like the man is scared. I feel like he doesn't he feels like he knows who his enemies are, but he can't necessarily identify them because the people that he's afraid of might have a long reach.
Right.
And so I think like you hit the nail on the head when you said he has so much influence. Just keep in mind, people with influence get taken out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at our leaders,
Malcolm X, MLK,
Timothy Carmichael.
When you reach certain levels of influence, you start saying certain things. You got to think. He says a lot of things. He talks about his handlers and this, and that. Like, he's saying things without saying things, and he has other worries, right? And so I think some of that is playing into the mental soup and stuff that's going on, and kind of like also driving some of his decisions in terms of like making media spectacles, because maybe he might feel more safe that way.
Yeah.
You have to control that. I think he's controlled. You know,
he tries to control it, but he has to be like behind a mask. Look at him, bro. Like, can't even see his face. There's no way that guy could be happy. He's under a microscope all day. Nick probably knows this better than anybody else. How does it feel when you see a comment and somebody's talking shit? It feels like crazy. I did one interview about after I did the Ric Flair drip video, there was a Rap Genius interview I did, right? A video interview. Now, obviously, I'm fucking clearly a brown dude, kind of dorky looking. I'm wearing some Raf Simons and shit, whatever. But the Raf Simons shirt I was wearing did look like a fucking McDonald's outfit. And the motherfucker was like, yo, this guy looks like he wears that McDonald's. And when I saw that, I was so fucking heated. I was like, motherfucker, you know, this is Raf Simons. Do you know how much money I got in my fucking pocket? Right? I wanted to say all that shit, but then I thought about it. Yo, calm the fuck down. You know, like, it's not that serious. People are always going to want to, like,
a high schooler, yo.
Yeah, dude. You know, it's under control.
Yeah, I mean, this era, you got to deal with the trouble.
That's just me. I felt that anger. I felt that anger from one comment. Imagine how can your mental state be healthy when you're Kanye West and you're dealing with this shit constantly? And they do fucking read all this shit, bro. Like, you know, like when people talk shit about Drake definitely reads all this shit. You know,
but like that man will go
fucking kid. You know, he looks up some of this shit. You're gonna look your shit up, bro. Like, and you're gonna get pissed. You're gonna get angry.
I'll tell you one thing. I do very well at not even like looking up a lot. Like for real, yo. I one thing I'm good at is like putting that shit out into the world, yo, and not even going down that road, because I have been down that road before, right? Like,
but the comments, reading the comments.
Oh yeah, they had yo. I tell you, when Drake first started blowing up, yo, the things that I would hear about myself were crazy.
Oh my god!
I never saw those negative things about. I never saw that stuff around your stuff.
I'm sure they did, because I found myself having to defend Nick about certain situations, right?
Or like the blogs, or like,
bro, like even on Twitter, not even that long ago.
Or like Twitters and shit. I don't know, never a Twitter guy. So
listen, we're all kids. We all made decisions we made, right? Some of us might have gotten angry about this decision he made. Some of us might have gotten angry about that decision we made. We were all young at the end of the day, right? But sometimes some people that don't even fucking know you will say some random shit about you. And then I'll find myself reading some comment about Nick. And I'm like, motherfucker, I knew these guys. This is what was really going down, blah, blah. You know, like, you can't let it get to you, bro. Like, there are people that'll just say random shit. Like, literally, just by that association that I had once with him, if I ever get in a conversation about Pusha T versus Drake, and if I'm like leaning towards Pusha T on some objective shit, people are like, no, show me, you cannot be objective in this conversation because you're just a bitter guy that I'm like, why would I be bitter? I fucking got, you know, a piece of life that I'm really happy about. I'm not trying to get Drake rich, bro. Like, I don't need to be Drake rich to be happy. So for you to just come, like, that's like me being mad at some person that I don't even know anymore. I don't know him like that anymore. Last conversation I had with him was in 2013. You know, you have to move on with your life and, like, let him live his life. But you also have to think, just because they have all this money, do you think they're fucking happy? Listen to the fucking lyric. Listen to the music.
When the Pusha T thing happened, you started to see
that was a big blow to him. I think that's his
only Doug, that's when you started to see him start to, like, you know, try to go in this direction a little bit. You know,
I'll say this. I'm talking about what I was just referring to was like the criticism for his last album, right? And the way he responded to it. I feel like that was all marketing. Yeah, that was marketing. And that's kind of like where we're at now, like with like marketing and whatever. You make it real. But I do think there was definitely times in the past where he was affected by what people had to say, because I think he was honestly doing the best and creating the best that he could. And so, like, when you don't,
did you ever on people's studio?
You said what?
Did you ever make him feel uncomfortable in the studio?
I don't think so.
Nah, I mean, they do that great chemistry. I mean, listen to those records together. That great chemistry.
You never played like around the homies or nothing. Like you never played him around Scummy or when the.
No. I think
guys they compliment each other well.
He's got records where he's shouting Scummy out. You know.
Yeah, nah. Like you, when he first came around, niggas was asking me like, "Who is this nigga?" You feel what I'm saying? But like the fact that I really rocked with him, and the fact that he was talented, like his music spoke for itself. Niggas fucked with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was different from what
he was talented. He's talented. There's no denying that.
It's been 10 years since the last time you did it. If Drake would have reached out to you today, would you hop on a record with him?
With me?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Some people don't. I don't know. I never asked you that.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I just think it would make. But if I did that, I wouldn't expect anything to come up. You know what I'm saying? Like I would do it because
for old time's sake.
Yeah, and because just
like, no expectation, just for get on, just bit whatever.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would just be to see where we went. Like you spent this much time on this side of the game doing it, and I've been here. Let's match up on a joint. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it would be fun.
I don't want to keep asking Drake questions, but I have one more question about it. After you did the Drake 1 record, did you see like a huge reaction from that? Like when that happened, that was what?
Yeah, people love that. I remember that record has well over 1 million plays on YouTube and all of that. But I'll say,
money.
I had put that on Vices, and like shortly after, like they ended up taking it back from me, so I wasn't able to like.
Why is that?
It was a sample, I think. Right? They never cleared it. And Drake never signed off on the record either. I don't think none of the people signed off on the record.
Because of the sample, or was it taken because of
But I know this though. I know this, like I shouldn't even say this on no podcast, but like I mean
off the record.
I ain't clearing.
You said off the record. It's still going on the internet.
Yeah. Like I ain't clearing no samples. Like I try and warp my shits and do whatever I can to them so they're not recognizable. But like,
right,
I'm keeping it hip hop.
Now, I don't think we got clearance from the actual Drake's camp to do that. He didn't sign off on getting it. They might have had to take it down. To be honest,
like I said, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciated the look for what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't even trip off of it. But you're asking if anything really came of it. Maybe by proxy that I'm not aware of, like just exposure and people hearing the song and listening to the album. You know what I'm saying? Because the album did really well.
You know what's funny about all this shit is Nick is such a different artist than who Drake is now, right? So it's like the conversation only happens. Drake only gets brought up only because that motherfucker's the biggest rapper ever in the world. That's the only reason. Well, and it's always going to get brought up, Nick. You know what I'm saying? It's not on I'm not writing shit on like Drake, but it's always going to get brought up no matter where we go because you worked with literally one of the biggest rappers of all time. Bigger than Jay-Z at this point.
Yeah, that's something that I said, like, it's like, I'm always going to get asked about him. He doesn't get asked about me, though. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who I'm going to interview with. It's going to be Drake question. And really, I think a lot of it has to do with just because he's not easily accessible. He doesn't do interviews.
And well, they have to prepare the interview before, like a lot of the big artists,
And I also think that people just want to hear me like be bitter or say some wild shit. You know what I'm saying? As time goes on, man, you grow, and you just understand. At least me, right?
Yeah.
I know people that hold on to things for life, but I realized that like me holding on to any ill feelings was only hurting me in the end.
100%. These people again will label you as bitter.
Yeah, and like it's like then you end up upset every time somebody brings up a name or you hear something, right? Like you don't want to live like
that. I was like that 5 years.
And
for 5 years, that was
you want to be upset about because every time you turn the fucking radio on, you're gonna have to
yeah, you gotta learn how to let things go. And I think being able to do that, right, and move on from that, helped me with other relationships in my life and things. And it's being able to have forgiveness and just let go of things. Because to be honest, I still don't even necessarily know where our friction came from or whatever it was, because we never even talked about it. It was never anything placed on the table. So it's like I didn't even necessarily know what I was mad at. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it was a loyalty factor.
Anytime. Yeah. Oh no, I get it.
In that situation, I think there was a loyalty factor because that guy. One thing real quick. One thing I understood about where he stood, because he got mad at me for saying Nick was a better battle rapper than him once, and he took it to heart. Like, yo, I thought you was in my corner, like, supporting my shit. I'm like, well, I mean, it's clear he's a better battle rapper. Like, the dude got mad at me, and I'm just like, all right, cool. So I never had like a solid spot in that camp. Same with Nick. Like like Nick was competition at the end of the day. Yeah, we work together, but he's competition, right? So it's just
that's the thing. I think that's where it was for me. Like, I never looked at him as competition, right?
No, but he looked at you like that all the time, bro. He did.
But no, see, that's something that I learned in hindsight, right? That I didn't know that. I didn't look at myself like, yo, I always wanted the squad to win. Like, you know how I was with the homies, right? Like,
yeah.
And so
you put everybody on.
We were in competition with everybody else. But if you were on my team, I only wanted the best for you. So that's just how I operated. Fuck everybody else though. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm competitive as hell with everybody across the street and across the way. But here on this side, this is love, and that's how I've always carried it.
Yeah.
But so I think those were some of the things that kind of like bothered me as things became apparent to me over like time. But then even still, like, you learn to for one, to even respect that, right? Because you bring up the thing about loyalty, but like for real, like the amount of time that we were working with him and like it was a very short amount of time when you really think about it on the grand scheme of things.
Even 3 years. Yeah. 3 years, a couple of trips. Yeah. I have a question for you, Nick, real quick. Are we ever going to see a Burglars reunion? One, like something where you put it, I'm pretty sure you'd be the orchestrator of that. And two, is Silver Rust ever coming out? That's the record that I feel like we're ready for. Yesterday, 10 years ago, it needs to come out.
Yeah, I think that should come out. First of all, with the Burglars, I talk to JR all the time, man.
Yeah,
like all the time. I haven't talked with Lee much too, but what's crazy is we had a brief exchange the other day when I dropped that Static joint, but he had been down in ATL doing things down there. I think he went to school to become like a studio engineer or whatnot. Yeah. So yeah. 5 Mics. I'm not even sure he's rapping anymore. I doubt there'd be like a full on Burglar joint again. But shit, there might be something with me and Lee. There might be something with me and JR. I've always been, you know what I'm saying, down to work. You
gotta let Ron produce all that. You remember Ron?
Hell yeah.
Ron J.
As for the Silver Rust, like, yeah, like I think that could be dope. I think that was an opportunity missed. That joint was a good project.
That's just beautiful music. You guys did an amazing, like,
yeah.
I listened to it again.
Can I be honest? Do you think a lot of the times we just look back at the music in a nostalgic way? Maybe the music wasn't as great as we think it is.
100%.
We have this nostalgic lens through it because of what we were experiencing, right? Because I'll go back to a sound. I'll go back to a SoundClick link, right? There are certain records, and again, I can say this as just a homie. There's certain records that I'll go back and listen to from Nick that I used to be such a big fan of back then. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, this record like that, it's whatever. But then there's certain records that are just undeniable crazy. There are certain records that I'll listen to. I was like, God damn, Nick was like spitting that shit to this, like even for this era, like the shit. So I think there's a little bit of a mixture that Nick also faces because he's got this old fan base that is so nostalgic for the old Nick, right? Because of how they grew up with the music, if that makes sense. How they grew up through the internet or how they grew up through seeing it live. There was a certain thing about that era, right? So I think Nick's fan base that we kind of see now is kind of post Lil Ugly Mane, if that makes sense.
What do you think? The joints you did with Obliv and like those types of joints.
Do you think the fan base you have now is more post that era, or instead of
post Ugly Mane, it's really like post Vices, right? When I put out Vices, that was kind of like there had been like a 2-year break at that time, and then at that point was when I just came out producing all my own stuff, recording all my own stuff. It was all in-house sort of thing, and I think that's when there was a big shift, kind of like in the type of music I was putting out, and also who was dialing in and how they were dialing in. And you know what? Shout out to Ugly Mane too, though. That's my brother. He hit me last night and linked me up with a crazy designer, yo. As I told you, I have been looking for a dope ass designer. Like, and I had been getting some crazy like recommendations, but he linked me up with somebody that's awesome too. So shout out to him for sure, man.
You know what I need to get you? I need to actually remember Irene, that girl from Florida. You remember her? She's sick, yo. But what are you looking for? Like a graphic designer or something like that?
Oh, I know what you're talking
animation.
About.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just like nah, man. It's a certain aesthetic I'm trying to pull off. What I want my merch to be like, you know.
Okay.
I want there to be a certain sort of consistency, and I wanted to reflect the sort of things that I'll reach for. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a whole another thing. Like that, we'll watch as those things roll out this year. But
would you get back into battle rap at all? Like, would you really?
You was battling, right? You was battling.
I did. I took a couple of them. In fact, I think I'm going to use the clip from one of them as a short little sweeper on this new tape.
How do you feel about
the last one I did was versus Drugs from?
Yeah, I saw that. That was in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you know what's crazy. This is the thing, yo. Every time I battle, yo, that world will come charging at me, yo. Like I'll start getting hit up by different league owners and scouts from different leagues. Like I just don't necessarily.
That's a whole other scene right there. Battle rappers.
Yeah, it requires.
It's difficult, man.
Dedication.
The man's lived a lot of lives, man. Because I'll tell you this, you'd be shocked at the type of people that I'll run into to this day. In the industry, if I bring up Nick, they're like, oh shit, I used to fuck with Nick. And one of them will shock you. So like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Futura and all these other guys. They're gigantic, legendary artists, right? So I ran into, I don't know how he knows about you, but you guys remember Sky Jalali? So he used to manage Lupe. So he managed.
Actually, yes, I know.
So Sky somehow brought you up in the conversation, which was crazy. I'm like, damn. Like, you know, this dude is like doing shit with BMW and I'm like, and he just brought up you, but it's funny. I was like, yo, you know, Nick kind of is like in the agency world too now. So it's kind of funny to talk about that.
You know, the thing is, well, like I hear that all the time, yo. And that I think there's there were that were never connected, right? But the types of people that will just DM me and say, yo, I just want to let you know, like, you're fire, yo, like, we're watching you, or, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm tapped in type of shit. Like, I don't ask for nothing from none of these people or any sort of handouts. I just think I appreciate the nod, you know what I'm saying, but I'm not gonna like name drop anybody, but it's some like really one, and it's like the people that I really look up to and respect. You know what I mean?
Like who?
I'm talking about like legend. You know what I'm saying? Legend. No, I don't do that. But
Nick's not a name dropper, man.
I've
never been
Nick is not a name dropper. I've been a bigger. I name drop for Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, you name drop, but
I'm still.
I don't know. I was thinking always saying, yeah,
guy.
This is my homie.
Y'all just say like I received a lot of love, yo. I received a lot of love. I know that I've touched ears and my just spread further beyond than what like some of my metrics might read as.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know that for a fact, and it's any time that I've gone out and hit the road, any place I step foot in this country, yo, I will get spotted, yo, randomly by some mega fan. You know what I'm saying? Or walk into any room up in New York with artists. If I mention my name, yo, he's gonna like, oh, yo, nice to put a nice play. Yo, I heard something. Yo, let me tell you about my man. My man fucking loves you, and he all you talk about is you. I hear that all the time. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
But you know, the thing is, that's why I'm excited about what it is that I'm on the verge and on the cusp of doing and what I'm working on now, because the fact that I know that people are tapped in, even if they not reposting this shit, they not championing this shit, because they're watching do that all the time. Yeah, they're not gonna do that all the time. But for me, I like creating, man. And I like being respected for my creating. Of course, I'm going to get some more ducats off of it, but I think ultimately that's going to come down to what I settle in the structure that I create. You feel what I'm saying?
I think that's just going to come to you, bro. Like when the time is right for that money stream to come in from what you're doing at a certain level, who knows? It might come to a point where you leave your 9 to 5 one day because that's what's bringing more money. You never know.
Yeah,
and you're a multimedia guy now. You got visuals, everything. You understand.
Nick, you ever think about?
I'm in a different space.
You ever think about going overseas, like to Japan and shit?
Absolutely.
I think you chill it out there.
There's some opportunities out there as well for me. This year, like I said, the thing is, all I gotta do is just complete the plan. You know, like the plan is drawn out. You know, I thought it through. I'm just connecting certain dots, and like I said, there's certain know-how and understanding that I didn't have, and like regardless of who was around me, if I didn't have that understanding and just kind of like knowledge to move, it was going to be what it was going to be. But I think at like this point in my life, you know, I'm a late bloomer for real, and you know, the lotus flower blooms at night. You feel what I'm saying? So
that's deep.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I think if you did go to Japan, you'd be able to. What's great? Like I had a friend that recently went there, and he was telling me like Japan is sort of set up in such a walkable way that you could go up to people and still like hand them CDs and promo shit, and that's what people love over there. Like they embrace that so much that it turns into like a cult following there. So I think it'd be sick eventually if you just go there for vacation, but maybe at the same time plant some seeds out there. It could really flourish some shit out there. Because one, Japan is fucking fire. 2, you're in this world of like comic books and shit. You know, they fuck with that shit heavy on the anime side.
Actually, Japan is actually one of the highest cities on my like metrics, and like this in terms of like where a lot of our listenership. I get a lot of Japanese listeners. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I'd love to see.
Yeah, that's well. It's like
that's exciting, man.
The biggest, I remember your biggest record was in India or something, right? Or remember that record?
Yeah.
Yo, show me.
Big in India.
Wait, I want to tell this story because it's great. It's a great story. Yeah. He had this record. It was a skit on one of the records. I forgot. What was it? Faces or something like that.
Thank you.
It was called Thank You. So we had this little skit where he's talking about rolling blunts or something, right? And it's just him talking about stopping smoking weed over this over this like this violin thing, right?
Uh-huh.
He called me one day. He's like, "Yo, H, they just sent me like a $20,000 check for my publishing. This is the biggest check I ever made." He's like, "You look at the analytics. I don't even know what's going on." He sends me this spreadsheet that like took up my whole email account, right? So I looked at it and I shuffled it down. It was like a 45-second skit got played all like in the Middle East and India and shit.
Can I tell you something about India?
I was
being somebody
like that every month for like 8-9 months.
I don't even know where that came. I was like,
can I tell you guys something? This is what people don't realize.
It works.
Listen, India has 1 billion people.
I know.
You have to understand, even a small percentage is a huge fan base out there. So that's another place you definitely hit up. Because I got homies that go to India and like just come back, get treated like royalty. They come back and just like doing shows and shit. They're not even that big, but like India's another market that's crazy, and they're just getting bigger and bigger now because obviously their powers in their population. Same thing with China, right? You got 1 billion plus in China, you got 1 billion plus in India. These markets, they love it when an artist actually goes out there to embrace them. So like a lot of people still haven't taken advantage of that, and those who do, I know people that are literally just like full time now, just living in Japan because they're doing so well just off the Japanese fan base. Because you got to think, in Japan, they're not just listening to music; they're buying your merch, and they'll pay a good dollar for that.
That's the thing about the fans that I have, like, and that I'm grateful for. Like, they pay. Like, yo, I be selling my vinyls for $100 on vinyls, yo, and they go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's like I couldn't even set that price.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? We'll set that price. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I know what they're selling for online, right?
Vinyls made a huge comeback right now.
Yo, I'm trying to tell you, I got vinyls that going online for like $200-something, right? But the crazy thing is,
to resell that.
I had happened to find a box of like old stuff guys for like 20 left because I've been thought I had sold out of them. You gotta think everybody picked that up. Like, them joints were everywhere, right? And sold out everywhere. And I happened to find 20. We just like posted about it, right? And we started doing shows just recently, the past couple months, right? Doing shows. Will's running the table. He's like, how much you want to sell the vinyl for? I'm like, oh, I don't know, like $40 or something. Like $40. Yo, 100. Wow. I said, yo, all right, man, if you can get
that's smart,
right? Man, next thing you know, at the end of the show, he just come back and just hand me all this money. It's like, yo, we sold this many vinyls.
Bro, just think about it. You sell 10, that's already 1,000 right there.
Do you mind taking pictures with these people, though? You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, I'm like taking pictures with him, sign it. But that let me know that they'll tap in. When I did Stuck, when I put out Stuck and that vinyl, after I got back I did 2 tours that year. When I got back, like, this is small money, right? But this is for like me when I was in college and I had like $12,000 or something that I had claimed the year before. I made 80 that year, and it was mostly off of the merch. It was off of the t-shirts, the hoodies, the vinyls, the cassettes, all of that. They were buying that stuff up. I made my website. I'm trying to tell you,
the merch game is real. A lot of people survive off that shit.
When I went out, I spent $300 on your merch at that show we went to in Baltimore. I cleaned out the table. I bought one of everything. It came out to like $300. They're charging $40 for a t-shirt, which I think is outrageous, but it's fine. I got it.
It was like,
that's the norm now, man. 40 is the norm now.
Though, like, it was, I was about to say, it goes even crazier than that, especially like with what I'm about to do with the shirts. The price won't go up, but the quality of them, watch.
It's beyond
like, I got the blueprint. Like, I know the blueprint. Like, I did a test run a few years ago. I got some business sense about me now. I'm a bit more mature, and like it's gonna go stupid this time because now
we got to do this merch.
I know how to commodify these things
for sure.
So it's gonna be a lot.
Fantastic merch just for fun. And I think we did what, like 40,000 in sales just off of one fucking design, bro. Like, it's insane.
I got the tweet and it just went viral.
Yeah, it was off of one viral tweet about a merch we made, and it was just like, damn, that's not bad, you know?
Required,
yeah. So like, now the merch game is serious, and like you look at Tyler. I think this year he had the highest amount of sales for vinyl. So.
Yeah,
babies crying in the
back. My Kami was selling $1,000 tapes. Just tapes were $1,000. My Kami was selling $700 tapes.
What's about like Nipsey Hussle set that standard? Like he was selling his one of those mixtapes for $100.
At that point, I couldn't imagine selling something for $100, and now it's like, oh, that'll work. You know what I'm saying? Because
people want a piece of history. Yeah,
and there are people that are really tapped in, like, and you'll realize that more and more. One beautiful thing about like the punk scene and the hardcore scene, is that like those things really support their artists and who they fuck with. And so like I have a lot of fans that are punk fans and hardcore fans, right? And they will hit me up and be like, yo, what do you have that I can buy? I have money and I want to put it in your pocket. Give me anything. Sell something.
I just checked eBay. You remember those Nipsey Hussle CDs that he was selling for $100? They're going for $12,000 right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
12,000. Actually, one of them, the vinyl for Victory Lap, is $74,000. Right?
Yeah, it's art, you know.
Yeah.
That's what
$12,000 Victory Lap.
See the music. That's the commodity. The artwork. That like you said you want to focus on getting a design and making a perfect merch, doing all that stuff. You're thinking about that more than the music, probably. It's like the music is
no. I think the music comes naturally, but how do you commodify it, right? Like the streaming is not going to be enough to like make your money back that you put in.
Well, you don't want to come. The music is the commodity. A commodity is something that's readily available. Like the artwork is before the artwork was the music. Right, people would cherish.
I guess it could go both ways. I mean, by being the commodity now is this vinyl form, you know.
Yeah. Well, no, well, whatever. Yeah, you know, but it's an interesting day now because you know, like I think Show Me brought this up to me months ago or maybe 2 years ago now, where you were talking about how music's just going to be something that's in the background of our lives on a day to day that we're going to be more. And especially with this new Apple Vision, I don't know if you all got to play with it yet, but I'm buying one.
I have.
When I get my bread.
No, I think when I was talking about years ago was now.
Before the next quarantine, man.
Yeah, you know, he's anticipating that quarantine.
Music has become a background thing now because you have two different audiences. You have the casual listener who's just like, no, not to bring up the most Def shit, that's listening to shit that's just playing in the background, that's listening to it because it's playing in TikTok. It's like just listening to it as a casual listener, not as a fan of music. Then you have audiophiles. I'm talking about people that are literally trying to get the most hi-fi system to play that vinyl record because they want the warmth back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good record. You know, like, I want a Miles Davis fucking record, you know? Like, it makes you feel different. Like, there is a ritual to how people listen to their records on a Sunday. See, you're working 9 to 5 all week. On a Sunday, you want to clean, listen to a good record on your good system, have some coffee, maybe read a book. That is coming back.
That's where my fans are. Like, this is the thing. This is why I'm sitting on a mind. None of a very small selection of my music has been placed on vinyl and sold in that manner. But there are albums that people have been begging for. Like, I have this rock label in town that wants to literally press up the physicals for all of my back catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like those coveted ones that like the people really connected to. That's a gold mine. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing is that I can even invest in that of myself. You know what I mean? And knowing
I got all the CD sleeves. Dog, I got all the CD covers. I might send them to you. I got all of them. I have like boxes of them.
Fans are looking for, yo, like
autograph joints.
I remember Nick, you did the tapes early, right?
Mm-hmm. Yo, I was first.
Yeah.
I swear, 2013, yo, like the tape. Well, nobody else had the cassettes, yo. Yeah. It was the tail end of 2012, and I brought back the do-rags, yo. I had the gold tip do-rags. The gold tip do-rags. I was selling them shits for $30, $40 the do-rags, man. With the gold.
Which is funny because me and Tash know these guys that do do-rags. What's the name, Tash?
Silk City. Then Jay-Z started wearing them.
Silk City, yeah.
Yeah,
you want to do something with them? You know what? I want to see you on Top Shelf Premium again. I want to see you on Top Shelf Premium because that's
I just did a show with them. We just did the Supply Dimension. Yo, That's why.
The next time you had supply and demand, let me know. Like, I love that team. Like, I think you and this dude named Crime Apple need to do something.
Yeah, I've been with Crime Apple. Yeah, we've had
to happen right after this. Let me produce it.
Yeah, we need to make that happen. Crime Apple is crazy. We've had talk. I like anytime I go up there,
like Longs, Crime Apple, all those top shelf premium guys. Yeah. Yo, I love what he's doing, man.
Yeah,
like he's
it's
dope. And freestyles.
Look, next time we have a show, you gotta come up there, come up to the show. Like,
is it in Jersey?
Yeah.
Now, New York. Yeah, Top Shelf Premium is in Jersey. Yeah, or the vintage shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll do the shows in Brooklyn at a place called Supply, and they'll do like a supply and demand.
Oh, okay.
He's always keeping up there. He's putting you up there. Yeah. There's a bunch of guys on there, man, that are really just that shit keeps me wanting to listen to rap, man. Just like I love going in there and just discovering that one kid that nobody knows about. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, every time I go to New York, like I'm still one that like gets excited for the rap. Yeah, that's the
green tape.
Nobody else was doing those, yo. Nobody else was doing those at the time.
So good.
I promise you.
Raekwon had the purple tape.
Boom.
Nick had the green tape.
Season premiere. Oh wait. There wasn't many of these.
There wasn't many of those at all. Look, that can go. This was now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole thing.
The heathen. Wait.
What is that image on the back of that crest?
I don't know. That's your design, bro.
that image went wild too. That one, I sold a bunch of those.
Oh wait, there's one more. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the punk rock thing, because
now that one is crazy. That's the test pressing.
I know.
That's the test pressing, and I have a copy of the test pressing too. What one is that number then? What number is that?
So
number?
43.
You know, as another kid that's been pushing the vinyl, that's doing his thing, man, is a kid named Brain Orchestra. You heard of him?
I have heard of Brain Orchestra. Yeah.
And he's doing like the whole
Where's he from?
I don't want to say it's somewhere in the tri-state area for sure. I don't want to say Jersey. I don't want to say New York, but there's a whole scene of kids. There's another guy. He does like house music. His name is Gum.
Oh, he's dope.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, yo, this kid literally told me, he's like, yo, this is how I eat. I literally have my website. I made 60,000 off of my CDs and merch. He's like, I literally burned them and I just put them out. And like,
all I'm doing from now here, pushing forward, pushing the website and up and putting out the merch. Like,
even people want to own something, man. Like iTunes, they want to just be able to be like, hey, come to my house, play that. Like, check this out.
That's why I was always skeptical of the whole NFT thing. I don't want to sound like a dinosaur, right? But it never connected with me, right? Because I'm a person that likes physical things, right?
Well,
I like
to have those stuff, bro. Like saying,
like our generation, that was what was accessible to us. Then this new generation got everything handed to them. Like, oh, here's every album.
Don't got the money to spend on it.
Yeah, but when they get it, that's why they're willing to spend a premium, bro. You can go one now by selling. Dog, you sell this season premiere, right? You were giving these away for free. If you do this right now, release 100 of these.
Oh yeah, I'm taking it.
You can charge $500 a piece. So they're gonna sell them out. You're gonna sell them out quick.
Because they're dead stock.
They're dead stock.
Bro, you know what you could do, Nick? Yeah. You know, you could now strip vocals using AI and just reproduce some of this shit.
Yeah, it's true. Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, that's really a thing too. Like
I have a lot of your acapellas.
Let's go back and recut. You know what I'm saying? But
you remember freestyling in my closet, man, just rapping on a Patrick File.
That was the very first one. That's what kicked it all off. You feel what I'm saying? Like for real, this all kicked off from Tash's closet. For real. Like
Tash, you're responsible.
Your own career started in Tash's closet.
Yes. And
I remember meeting you at this is when the racing scene was. This is 2003.
Super Tuner,
bro. And you were rocking pink before Cameron. And people look at you.
You know what? You know what? I can't even say it was before. He was definitely who inspired me to do the Pink. I'm be honest.
Well, I think it was the same time.
It was around the same time, but I know I was inspired by it. I ended up getting those pink snakeskin Jordans that had came out.
11. There's 11. 11 pink 11s. The snakeskin pink 11.
Yep.
I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. And my friend, who's been my friend for 21 years now, my first time I met him, we was just like, yo, is Nick gonna be there? Because it was like, you're the talk of the town and whatnot at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'll introduce you to him. My brother's over there and whatnot. Like, my first time meeting him, we were friends just on AIM. You know what I mean? Different middle school, my friend Colton.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, his mom came, picked us up, dropped us off at Super Tuner. We only had enough money to get into the thing. It was like $20 or something like that. He might have covered me. I can't even remember. But yeah, like, and from then, I remember that summer, we spent, like, you guys just spent the night at the crib and just everybody, it was just parties after parties at my house and a lot of recording.
One house party was crazy.
And then next,
what's crazy about that one house party where Nick was recording in the closet, Anoop was there. This kid Jacob Casher was there too, and I don't know if I ever told you, Nick. That kid Jacob Casher, he was super jealous because all eyes were on you. But now it's funny. Jacob Casher this year wrote the Morgan Wallen record. That's like number 1 on the charts.
We are.
Yeah, he does country music now. He does all kinds of shit.
That's dope.
He ended up executive producing.
All from the closet, man.
Yeah, he ended up executive producing Maroon 5's album. So it's kind of crazy to see that types of things that can come out of him.
Look, Taj, you ought to start a studio called Tash's Closet. Like, all brand something, yo. That is.
You know what's crazy? And all the game that I soaked up watching y'all at 13, 14 years old, the minute I got in the music industry, it was so easy for me. And this kind of goes back to like just us as affiliation, as a podcast, as an agency, right? I knew the first thing I ever did before I did anything, I got my Gmail. I got the Twitters. I got the Facebook accounts. I got a logo made. I didn't even have a song. I just knew I needed all these things.
He had all the branding, and I don't know if y'all know.
Very smart.
He did the branding first, and then he went out to Ferg and Rocky and ended up placing records with Rocky and Ferg.
I didn't know what I was. I was like, yo, I got this thing. It's called veryrare.com. I don't know if it's going to be a blog. I don't know if it's going to be so. I just wanted to get in, but I knew it had to look official. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell you a story. So they had just I think Live Love ASAP just dropped or whatever, right? And I added them right before that same summer when Peso dropped. I went in on their Facebook and I would add ASAP Nast, ASAP for Rocky, like their actual college profiles. Add them on there. And I remember I'm messaging Nast. I was like, yo, dude, like I didn't even make beats at the time. I was just like, yo, if you need any beats, videos, just hit me up. Because I had shown me for the videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, no, I don't need no videos, but I need some beats. And then I was like, all right, man, tomorrow I'm going to Guitar Center and I'm just going to buy this shit. And we only made like 11 beats. But with those 11 beats, I just kept jugging them. And I ended up making like 3 songs out of them that were on like the biggest mixtapes of all time.
That's fire. That's fire.
Like, I just had faith in these.
That's fire. A motherfucker said, we need beats. Then he said, all right, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy a damn program.
That's kind of like me too, though. I remember when Def Jam was like, well, if Nick gets signed, you guys know how to do DVD shit? I was like, yeah, I lied. And then I purchased a DVD burner. All this shit, right?
Yo, I remember when we were making your DVD, Show Me was learning how to edit then.
Literally, I was like that. I had the footage. I just didn't know how to edit that shit. Because I knew a very primitive version of editing, which was like going on like Windows Movie Maker and in the video, but it wasn't as watchable. So then literally, this is
those videos.
Man. I had to like look up shit online and just fuck around with it, and we just learned it, man.
And that's how it happens, though.
Without Nick,
that's how it happens.
And now we're able to charge companies like $50,000 to $100,000 just for the editing side.
Yeah,
shit that we learned that I didn't even go to college for. Just because out of necessity to get Nick's demo out or some shit. That was EPK. The Def Jam wanted an EPK.
From you working at Def Jam, Hugh, to managing one artist, and now what we do at Affiliation, we kind of like we are responsible for marketing how many major artists now, like that's blowing up. We got to figure out these things.
A lot, like low key.
You know what I mean?
It's
but it's coming from this expertise and experience. We're not just an agency. You get
what? That's what makes that experience is what makes us, even what Nick does, makes us more seasoned and prepared.
Yeah, with the most underground rapper battle.
We don't want the artist or the creative to go through the same shit we had to go through.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like a man, like look, just to give you some perspective, and I think I said this the last time we talked. We were always ahead of our time when we did shit. StraightHipHop.com was ahead of its time. Elusive Media ahead of its time. Nobody was putting out DVDs in 2003 for rappers and making interactive websites and shit. Like we were. Like I didn't, there was all hiphop.com, but there was no site that literally posted every new song and rapping. Realize Hip Hop Game, but like we had like a whole, we created a whole lane. But we created a lane. We created a lane for the stuff that we did creatively.
All I ever wanted to do was be on Hip Hop Game. If I had a song on Hip Hop Game or all hiphop.com, I thought I made it. I thought I made it.
You know what's crazy? It's from.
That was like getting playlisted back then.
That was being playlisted.
You know what though? The crazy thing is for like how it was for me and in my city, like niggas didn't get on the computer and they didn't listen things. So if I didn't have them a CD in their hand, I won't do shit. You feel what I'm saying?
But the kids though, the kids
wasn't tapped.
Remember Juan and them, Juan, Octavian, they was like, yo, you on Hip Hop Game?
This is what I learned. But that's what I learned as I got older and as I went out. Like I kept having these moments where there were people that had grew up on my music that were way out there, way over here, way over there. I'm like, how?
I grew up on your music just because I was able to study, set the mic this way, hook it up through Fruity Loops. Use, what was the audio thing that we used back then that we used to record on?
Audio, no, Nick
used to let it.
Edit from.
Yeah,
Nick, what do you use now to make beats?
It started off of just simply watching my brother over and over.
Nick, what are you using now to make beats?
Use Logic in my SP.
Shit.
E4.
Damn.
And then I like analog things, right? So I use the SP. Of course, I use Logic, but then I'll run things through tape compression, like actual.
It just creates the grit. Certain sort of right.
This is why Derringer, The Alchemist, all these people, man, are just special to me, man. Conductor.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they have a certain.
I want to see
that. Yeah, like I do this. Like I walk over here, and then I just start pulling out this tons. Like, yo,
yeah,
I got so much shit over there just to like.
I don't think kids understand when you rip an old song off of YouTube. You're getting a digital version. It's not necessarily like ripped off of a vinyl, which feels different. You know,
I sample off a cassette. I will lay my tracks, my full beat to cassette, and just get that texture, that feeling, and then run it back into the dog.
Dude, giving us the recipe. Now watch everybody start doing shit.
And about to get to work and get the surgery. That's what we do it for. You get that blunt up. You're in your zone.
Yes, yo.
You're cutting up the tracks, and you don't even care if nobody hears it. It's the art of it, you know.
Yeah, factual.
Really, what we do it for. I don't do it. I never wanted
the white label.
Nick, where do you
get white label
shit pressed?
1 of 100.
Where do you gotta get this stuff pressed?
So I go through Vinyl Conflict to do it. I'm not sure exactly who I don't remember the name. He shared the link with me and the contact with him, but I go through him. You know, he has many years long relationship with them, pressing things up through a funk label. I can let you know. I can find out who it is. But
I think Jack White has a record plan too. That
I went down there.
Bro, Detroit, is that where it is?
Went with Tommy Wright III, and
you linked up with Tommy Wright.
We did a whole tour. Crazy.
What?
I need to link you. Link you with one of my good friends, man, and shout out to him. He was the first person to ever rap on my beat, and guess who it was, bro?
Who?
See, this is during the time when Space Ghost Perp was making all that, like Memphis shit. The first person to ever, and this is a very rare fact, the first person to ever rap on my song is King and Skate, bro.
Was who?
Kingpin Skinny Pimp, man. You know,
Oh, shit.
That's a girl guy.
You ever rap on my beat, bro?
Kingpin Skinny Pimp for real?
And till this day, he calls me up. Till this day,
yo, we gotta do a Nick and
That's crazy, yeah.
And you know what's so crazy? At that time, he was just unorganized, and all this new genre came out called funk. This is how we got. Now, then this goes right back to affiliation.
This is what's the name is funk, really? Yeah, Freddie Dredd. Nick, are you familiar with Freddie Dredd?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Looping back into this, that whole scene now is what we work for to try to make, you know what I mean? Make it sick, dude.
Nick, are you familiar with Freddie Dredd?
Freddie Dredd?
Yeah.
No.
He created, well, he's one of the guys in that funk scene. You know what I'm saying? This whole scene. And it's so
on RCA.
I think Virginia has a lot to do with this, or the East Coast, because that whole 3-6 Mafia sped up music is drifting, like all those drifting culture and shit.
Yeah.
The drift videos on IG Reels. So it goes back. All this is connected with short form content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just gotta.
Look, you mentioned Kingpin Skinny Pimp, right? So we was on tour. We went down through New Orleans. Oh, did I get this in Memphis or New Orleans? I think I might have got this in New Orleans, but this is like the Play a Fly tape, right? But this is like an original from like 1996. As like an original pressing from 1996. And they were doing these joints independent back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Shit sounds crazy.
You know what you should do on top? You should have a curated online store that's not just your shit, just shit you like records.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, not sick. Dope. Yeah. That's a great idea, actually.
I think all of
us gonna break that.
All of us on this podcast right now, our dream would be to own a record store / like clothing store.
I just want to have a record store to hang out in.
Cafe where I sell.
You can't buy nothing.
That's my dream.
I want to put all my vinyl out. People look at, but they can't buy shit.
Yeah,
you can take the crates, bring it to the counter. It's going
like successful, nice. It made like us, me and Show Me in Jersey. One of us, like I said, I love what Top Shelf Premium is doing, man.
Yeah,
living off that. His wife helps him curate the woman's side, and he's literally doing what he wants for a living. Like, come over here, big rapper, small rapper, do this. He has these things called supply and demand. Like, it's all interconnected.
It's beautiful. And you know what? When I was last up there, we had went to dinner, and I was asking him, like, was he ever thinking about like opening up other branches and other stores and all of this?
Because you
like, he is like, nah. He is like, I'm happy with this and this one, and you know, this is what I want to do.
He really works with what he's got. That's the easy thing about it. He's so like, you know, it's so funny. This goes back to so I was art director. Me and Show Me did this thing for the 25th anniversary of Ghostface Killer, right? With Iron Man thing. I was the art director for it. And Show Me wanted all the old school vinyls and tapes. I reached out to him. I said, yo, let me get one of your Killer tapes, the Iron Man tape. He was like, yeah, I'll give it to you, but you got to get it signed for me. He's like, nobody borrow my Killer tape. You know what I mean? So I got it signed. I gave it back to him, but I forgot the tape. So it's been 3 years now.
Where is that tape?
It's in one of the things. I put it somewhere.
Okay, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
I dude, it's my dream to just have.
This is a repressing though.
Oh wow, you got one.
You know, Mos Def is doing like.
I just bought it like a few weeks ago.
Wait, hold on, you got it? That's a repress.
That was the repress. I have the original in my crates in the garage. But
yeah,
this is
repressed too. But I love.
Do you ever sample off of vinyl?
First Biggie record.
No, my favorite things to sample off of are like vinyl and cassette. I love sampling off cassette. It's time consuming.
Yeah. But that's the fun part about it. It's like, yo, I'm gonna work with what I got.
Yo, I will do that. That's why I love the SP. Like, and I didn't get the new one. This is the middle child, and the reason this one is this classic. Yeah, but it's the 404 SX. Like, so. You know,
the 1000 was the middle child.
Now, like with the screen on it, and you can see the wave and chop the wave. This is all ear. You know what I'm saying? All this like timing, hitting that button. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then tweaking it. But I love this machine. I picked this up.
That's Ren, dude.
When I went into quarantine, yo, I said I'm gonna learn how to use the SP, and I beat the hell out of this thing. You know what I'm saying? But I made so much fucking heat off of this, and it just adds so much texture. And the other thing about it, yo, is you can have too many options. Like Logic, I have way too many options. You know what I'm saying? And just having your hands tied a little bit and having those boundaries and those constraints, you can only do this, or that.
Dude, speaking of that,
you become more creative.
You want to know what's so crazy, right? So remember when I told you they were just like, I was like, all right, man, forget about it. I'm just gonna learn how to make beats. So when I went to Guitar Center. You know, I swear to God, like I was too scared to just jump into the MPC. You know what I mean? But I was like, yo, man, it's called an Akai XR20. I don't know if you know about.
Remember the XR20?
I didn't know that it was so quote unquote primitive, right? And it already had loaded sounds. You can't load sounds into it. It's not a MIDI. You know what I mean? Dude, I ended up using it. Listen, the fact that I used it once, man, I fucking did a song with Ferg off of that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like that.
That's fire.
I played the drums on that, and then it was we really just used the most primitive sounds, looped it into Fruity Loops, added our own little 1-2, and I got a whole. And from that song, we ended up making 6 other songs. Like just and that's the thing, man. I think you even remember back then. And I try to say any producers, just work with anybody, dude. You know what I mean? Like. Going back to our last episode, we did episode 2 with this artist named Jay Tips, who's got the hottest. He's out right now, but he's a rapper too. You should be, if you're a producer just trying to get in the game, you should be sending Jay Tips beats. You should be sending anybody with a platform beats that's going to tweet it and that's going to share it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about going platinum or viral. You need to just get your name out there. You need to be on somebody's back of somebody's vinyl.
That's how you get on the radar, because then any major artist right now is always listening to anything. They're on YouTube looking at who's trending or who's got something buzzing, and they'll listen to that producer. You know, these guys don't pick. These producers don't come out and just build a discography of known people, unknown people. You can have 1 million beats, but if you don't have like. This crazy at the time. What is it? What's his name? Boy Wonder. Nick knows. The Boy Wonder used to give beats to everybody. Like he got packs of Boy Wonder beats, but he let anybody rap on his joints. He just wanted to have people on it.
That's just so happy. Even if I was working with Rocky and Ferg, that wasn't just enough. I just needed an extensive discography. And I can just look back. Even if I don't get big, I want to look back and be like, yo, dude, I did 17 mixtapes, 4 albums. I mean, one of them went gold. But just that knowledge and just knowing the game, and it goes back to even you working over at you doing your own thing. We wouldn't be working at Adobe. I wouldn't work at Affiliation if I didn't know what to do with social media and stuff. And I learn from you every day. He teaches me like, yo, use this clips for that. You can tune it for this, that. Like you gotta be a student.
Different language.
You gotta be
learning every day too, man.
Show me makes beats every day, still this day. Like I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna learn a program every day.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's some kind of mid runway ML, any of this shit. Like just do it, dude. Like, you gotta love this shit. You gotta learn.
That's ultimately what it goes back to. Love of the game, love of the sport, and love of what it is that you do. And like I said, that's the only way I can get up and do what I do every day is because I love doing this. It's what I do for my fun and for my free time on a Friday, on a Saturday night. A lot of times I forego things. Like I get invited places, I hear about things, but this Luke is so crazy right now. You know, like,
dude, listen,
a little bit more.
It's an addiction, bro.
It really is,
No, I'm talking about when you get you get in your zone, you like that blunt, and you just listen to the same beat over and over. It's like a trance. I can't describe it.
It's hard to walk away from. Right.
I'm a club baby, man. Like,
I'll end up this phone to I'm at the y'all later, yo. And then long after they've gone, they come back in, they're asleep, there in bed. It's like 6 o'clock it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just now just like, perfect. All right, I think I can go to bed now.
Yeah,
Text message at 5:30 in the morning. Yo, listen to this when you wake up. You know what I'm saying? That's me. But
sometimes you make that beat, you finish it, and you just send it to some homie that you just respect his opinion. Him to just freak out over it.
That's always what it is. Yeah, and that's the thing. I still do that. Like I make shit and I just send it to the homies. Like I have a few certain people like, and I send them songs all the fucking time, beats, random songs. Like I'm always recording. It's always something new, and I'm always just like sending it people just for the love of the game. Like
you do that with Sean Kemp, aka Lil Ugly Man. You just send him.
Yes. It would be a random joint.
Like, even nobody knows this. Like Show Me still till this day makes beats, right? And he
knows I sent him something.
Being famous, he doesn't care about anybody rapping on him. It's that moment, like we'll go in the studio and we'll be like, "Yo, Ferg, look at this album, look at this beat I made." Right?
It's like I made
for his ears. We don't care if anyone hears it. Show Me this whole SoundCloud. Nobody knows about. We're full of.
I know about it.
I know about it.
Yeah,
we're just having fun. We do this because we love this shit, right? Like honestly, the real reason we even wanted to meet Nick in the first place back then, because me and Phil were making beats. If you guys remember, me, Nick, Jared, we were all managed by Magoo at one point.
Yep.
And I was managed as a producer. The only reason I quit producing is because Magoo asked who the hell made Nick's website. I said, I did. And he said, yo, fuck all this production shit. Go do that. You're going to be successful at that. And I'm all right. I'll listen to Magoo. I mean, he's friends with Timbaland. If he's telling me, like, fuck the beats, we got enough, all right? And honestly, I'm not going to lie. Rest in peace. That's the best advice he gave me.
He was like, get into real estate and just make your money. He was telling them.
He was telling me all this shit earlier. Remember that? Nick was telling us about real estate. Yep. Yo, Magoo was like so fucking in the trenches from the industry. He hated it. And we met him when he was sort of like warning us about the industry. He'd tell us all this shit that was going down.
Oh, my God.
2003. This is literally 20 years ago. He was saying stuff.
More than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
21 years ago. Oh, wow.
Speaking of, I just found something, Nick, that I want you to see. You probably haven't seen this in a minute. Maybe you have. This happened 17 years ago. I just found on YouTube. Well, I was looking for something to play on YouTube. Close this out because I have to go. But it's been a great. No, but this is great. Now it's like we just need.
We just need to have a weekly episode or every 2 weeks. We have got time. We don't gotta reminisce anymore, bro.
Yeah, sure.
We really don't at this point. But man, like I said, dude, it's
shit.
Oh my God.
You remember? Well, you remember what? You know what this is?
Yeah,
Pink Sideburns era.
This is the battle with Jay Farrow.
This is Jay Farrow battle.
Yeah,
no, I know the battle happened. This was a Deming show. It was right after.
Was you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Yo. That's when Ben Frank. There was a producer named Ben Frank or something.
Nah, that was Ace's artist. Best friend.
No, Ben, he wasn't there.
Ben Frank?
No, this is not Ben Frank. This is him battling Jay Farrow.
That's Jay Farrow. But would you have thought that kid would become like Jay Farrow?
One of the biggest comedians on SNL.
I don't know what he's doing that.
Like when you look at it, I'm not surprised, right? Because from what I remember, I wasn't trying to battle, right? Like I didn't want to do it. I was literally just trying to chill. And
you remember they said there was money? He was like, yeah, they didn't even give you the bread.
They don't really want to battle you. Like, just do the come on, yo. Like, I reluctantly was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying?
It's the Drake shit everybody talks about. This is what we need to be. Nick battle somebody from SNL, bro. Do you know how seriously crazy this sounds? We need a Nickelus F movie. Because this man has been through and
we have between Show Me the Eye, we got a lot of footage.
There used to be a TV show that's like Atlanta, but in Richmond. Because the shit Nick is a fucking series, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So, there could be a whole season about like the road trips, the 106 and Park.
We need to write that shit. That's what we need to do. Pitch that.
Virginia,
I'll direct that shit.
Virginia Beach trips, the New York trips, all the different people.
Yeah.
Bro, we need a Nick memoir, like a book.
Nah, that's something I'm actually kind of doing a little something like that.
That's dope.
I mean, those are like those are the stories that do numbers though. But like it's just crazy. Dog, the amount of people that cross paths, and we talk about B Major, Labox, Drake, fucking Rel, all that disc. Oh, what's the nigga? The G Unit dude. What's his name?
Oh, Hot
Rod. Yo, like what? He's selling insurance or something now. Like these dudes, you got I don't know. He was selling sneakers or something. Last I heard.
You know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Like the fact.
No. But he's a DJ and like he lives in Germany or something. He turned into like a punk, right? Not punk, right? Like he's like on some club. He's like a club DJ.
He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
Yeah. But like all these different people at that time, we're talking like 2002, 2001, all the way to like now, even like all the way up to that's 20 over 20 years, almost 25 years. Next year, you know, but it's just
I've got some crazy
amount of. That's a lot, and you're still young though. That's the crazy part. You just turned 41. You said so. You still young, and you're still doing the same thing, catering to a whole different audience.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Hey, just watch what happens this year. Just watch what we do.
But can I be honest? Being 41 now is like kind of like being 30 nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And not just that.
You still act like a 20-year-old. I don't know.
For sure.
We're the last era. We're the last era that lived through a time where there was no internet, really internet. So we sort of like, I don't know. Our brains are sort of rewired differently than anybody else. I feel like we're 90s babies. There's a lot of factors about it, right? And it's funny. We thought we were stressed out post 9/11 era, but like these new Gen Z kids are so stressed out. There's a video about how Gen Z is like aging very fast, and I'm not knocking them. They're great kids. They're like, I love Gen Z and what they stand for, but they're like aging faster than us. So what's happening is Gen Z kids, in a weird way, are looking closer to our age, and so like it's a weird thing.
Yeah,
the gap is
going to take a while for me to age, man. It really is. It's gonna take a while for me to age and just like physically show it as well. I'm a specimen for real.
There you go. No, because honestly, when I look at Nick, he looks like the same guy that I saw 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that.
I mean, if you shave the beard off, you probably look like you're 20. Like,
no, you know what it is about Nick?
You look like this guy.
Nick was older than he was back then, so now he's starting to sustain that same look. Because Nick is always maintained. Nick is much older than he really was at that time.
Oh yeah, no, that was lack of sleep. He never slept.
Yeah,
it was that dark circle.
Nick just had an older like vibe about his face. He was like a kid at heart.
Well, Nick was always 26 years old forever.
You know what's funny? Because that's what I'll get. I'll get like, I thought you were like 28, 30. Like I never get any
26 to 20 years straight.
Yeah, facts.
It's just the way you carry yourself, you know what I'm saying?
I'm better now than I was then, though, because I'm not putting that crazy shit into my body.
There you go.
I'm actually running and, you know what I'm saying, push-ups every day. Like, I'm in better shape now. I was in decent shape then, too, but...
No, you were. You're working all the time.
It's crazy, Nick. I'm engaged now. It's wild, dude. Like,
yeah, it's a beautiful thing, yo.
We're all growing up, man.
Yep.
No, wait. These are the bars right here. These are the bars. Hold on.
Before we end this thing.
When they heat a spray, you couldn't get away with cheetah lays. I reach a fate. Cause I'm part of a gang that got more members than graffiti spray. And feed me with 2 hands in a tub full of Vaseline. Nickelus F. I'm Einstein height. This nigga just unsigned. See with the right man, nice with the right man. Put the pipe in your white, put the pipe in your white man. Boston, I saw in the time of your ice cream, you would be left like you can't write with the right hand. If I could act right with the right hand, you tripping. I'm Tyson like Mike, you Tyson like chicken. I'm a Tyson. If you correct me, me like a player coach. This nigga whack, yo. You wanna rap, yo. Get to these two. I'd rather sit in my ass, bro. Cut you with back like the crowd. I want don't like back the crowd.
You had grown men.
Hardest part about was that graffiti gray line.
That was a crazy thing. That was in a church, you know?
Yeah, the graffiti gray line is the hardest part.
No, one of the pastors came up to them and was like, "Yo, can they chill out with the cursing?" That was so wild.
Pastor Mike. Yeah. Pastor Mike used to do these shows.
But dude, that's what's crazy. Like those people know. Like this is a church full. There's a room full of church kids, And he just tore it down.
Hold on.
You tore it down, dog. Yeah, homie was wearing a three-piece. Homie was wearing a three-piece suit. He took off his clothes. Jay Farrow about to cry. This dude was overdressed for the season. Was just he just took his jacket off. Yo, you like that's the type of impact you had on people at when you get your stage. I mean, even today when I saw you in 2018 at that show, man, the kids was mesmerized. They was crowd surfing. Yo, show me you haven't gone to a show like really ever, right?
I haven't gone to shows in general, like,
but not like
and I haven't seen Nick really be crazy. They be crazy.
I ain't seen you perform in front of a crowd. Like I was with you for 5 years. I never seen you perform in front of a really large crowd. When I saw you in Baltimore, I was like, yeah, that's
Southwest.
Nah, that show was crazy. I got footage of that night. There's a crazy scene. In fact, if you look up my video Walls of Jericho, there's a scene where I like throw like water into the crowd and I just start doing this crazy head banging. And at the same time, there's this white guy that just runs across the stage and just like flies through the air. It's
from that show?
Huh? Yeah.
From that show?
Yeah, I got
remember
it on video. And I did in the music video, but
man.
Yeah, we was having fun with that, man. Like you gotta think like I stage dive for the first time in like my mid-30s. You feel what I'm saying? Like I learned how to stage dive post 30. But you know, we break rules. We break the rules.
We can probably do this for hours, y'all.
Yeah, all right. Well, shit, man. It's good catching up,
brother.
Peace, y'all. Man, thank you. First, thank y'all for having me, man. It's been a great talk.
Always, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can do this on the regular. You should be a regular guest.
Yeah, man. We can tap back.
We should get you in here next time we have when we get somebody
next release, or we should get like one with Jared.
Nick, I'm gonna send you some loops right now.
Shoot them through. I got
an artist I work with from Jersey named Grim Doza. I'm sure you heard of him.
Yeah, I did a joint with Grim Doza years ago. Like yeah, I did a joint on one of his tapes actually.
I was like kind of help managing him at one point. Him and this kid named Dream Beach. Those are like my first artists that I was.
Oh yeah,
Grim Doza is fire, yo, and that's I would definitely like to do some more. I think I sent him a message the other day. Maybe I didn't, but I saw him. He did a video. What was it? Chinatown something.
Yeah, they do all their freestyles in Chinatown.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, that one had just dropped, and I saw him.
You got to do a Chinatown joint.
Send him a message, yo. Nah, fuck with him though. His shit is dope. There was one tape he put out where he's like all his beats sounded like some like 2002 Neptune shit. Like
that was his whole thing. Nobody knows what about him. Yeah. One of his things is he loves making old school Neptune beats.
Yeah. Like I would like to get one.
We all started off of. That's why I know he's got the juice because we all started off trying to make fake Neptune beats.
Yeah. Nah, he's dope. He's dope.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, y'all.
All right, bro. All right. Good. Have a good night. Bye.